No, that's the wrong one. What's up, Internet? I'm Claris Polaris. I'm by myself today. For no reason. It's never because Nerdy's done this to me before.
Did it hit 0?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, do I do it?
My brain is not on the right time today. Good morning, Internet. My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Claros.
And this is the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club. James Ross says, still in the old house. This is the final book club from, should we drop our address, hard drop our address now that we're leaving?
Oh, hilarious. No. But you can say the name of the road that you thought was really funny now that we're leaving.
It's so close to our house. And there's a photo of the outside. I don't know if that's a good idea.
That's up to you.
Next book club, I will reveal the naughty word that is the street name near our house that I think is very funny.
I love that for us. Yeah.
On a subsequent book club.
This is the last room that is kind of set up. The couch is gone. But most of the other stuff is in
your
here.
editing room, we haven't really touched yet.
That's true. I got stuff out of the closet, but so there's kind of like 2 smaller rooms that we have to pack up and move. And that's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of work. It's fine.
Is it Street 69? No. It's like a normal street name. It's just very...
Sure.
It's funny.
Sure, yeah.
It's not that... guys, I don't want to build this up too much. It's not that funny. It is mildly humorous.
I don't know. You thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny that we lived off of it.
Right. How we doing, chat? How are y'all this morning, this Friday, this final Friday book club? Oh my God.
Yeah, this will be the last one for the year.
Yeah. Everyone calm down. I know. It's weird. It's going to be weird. But it's going to be okay, I promise. Full book club schedule is in the Discord, and we also have a breakdown for Oathbringer.
What?
Hell yeah, we got a split.
I didn't know that. Where's the split?
I got it.
Okay.
This time I got sent it. Thank you.
Is it in Mod Talk? Oh yeah, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, gentle thems, thank you so much for being here. This is the split for Oathbringer. Oh wait, what are the dates though?
Well,
Week 1 will be the
up.
prologue to chapter 17.
Wait,
What? That's so many chapters. What are we doing? Guys, we have 7 splits.
Wait, I can...
How are we on 17 in week 1?
Okay, so Sunday, October 20th is going to be prologue to chapter 17. All right?
Okay.
And then Sunday, October 27th,
Okay.
it's going to be chapter 18 to chapter 37.
Okay.
Then we switch to Mondays. Okay. Monday, November 4th, is going to be chapter 38 to chapter 57.
That's in 3 weeks. We're doing 57 chapters in 3 weeks.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Are they shorter chapters in this book? What the fuck is going on, Brandy?
It's like 175 pages or so for each split. Yeah, see, that's totally fine. That is...
Oh, the chapters must be super short then.
I mean, they definitely, like, average... Like, they fluctuate a lot. Monday... Okay, then we're taking a week off because... Why are we taking a week off? Oh, yeah, wedding. Gone. Won't be here. Then Monday. Then we change to Mondays. No, wait. We already did that on Monday, November 4th. Okay, so it's 2 Sundays, and then the rest are Mondays through the rest of the year. So, Monday, November 18th is Interlude 4 to Chapter 76. Then Monday, November 25th is Chapter 77 to Chapter 91. Then Monday, December 2nd is Chapter 92 to Interlude 14. Wait, did I skip one? No, I think I got it, okay.
I'm already stressed out. This is too much.
Then Monday, December 16th is chapter 114 to epilogue. Did I get that right? And then
114?
Yeah.
Brandy, motherfucking Sandy. What are we doing, brother?
Apparently week 2 is the longest, but we'll say there's about the same length, and week 5 is the shortest by a lot. Okay, cool. So I'm assuming just a lot happens.
All right. I'll accept it.
We trust you guys.
Samantha says, can you put the schedule in the community section on YouTube too? I will as soon as I make it. I didn't know that we had the split yet.
We just got it.
So I haven't made the graphic, but it will be up today.
Yeah. That'll get to you, promise.
Bros Time says, where's your reaction to Agatha All Along episode 5? Our Agatha episodes always go up at 2 p.m. on
always.
3 days.
Every time. Same time. Every week.
It will go up at 2 o'clock today.
Yeah.
It's on Patreon if you want. The Patreon full-length reactions already.
It's true.
But.
If you cannot wait that long, you can go pay $5 to watch it early.
Yeah, but that's full-length. If you want the edited version, it's up at 2. Judah Canizares, thank you for
that super chat.
Super chat. We're so back. I'm struggling. Lamau. I've had a full week of work with the kids.
Oh, boy.
Sorry about that. And going straight to pre-tech for Avita. Pray for me. Don't pray
Avita?
for me, Judah Canizares.
Oh, my God.
The truth is I never left you.
Wow, you're doing Avita. What a show.
Yeah. Can I tell a terrible story about me that I shouldn't tell on the internet, but is it just 100% true?
You're absolutely going to, so.
Okay, guys, I before I tell this story, I need you guys to understand the context of it.
Great.
Which is that I was 10 and I didn't know better. And it's not my fault because the adults in the situation should have handled things properly. When I was in grade 5, for 1 year, I went to a school called Canyon Meadows Elementary, and in Calgary, and they were opening the first Spanish, like Spanish as a second language course. It was gonna be the first one in Calgary, so it was the first. And so I'm a singer, and I've been a singer since I was a little boy.
Gonna get canceled.
Probably. And I would sing at events. Like, I would, like, sing O Canada and the American National Anthem for, like, conferences and stuff. And it was just a way to make a little bit of money. And so the school knew this. And so they were like, oh, well, will you sing at this event? And I was like, sure, I guess. And so they got me to sing, because I was a little boy soprano. I had a really high voice. They got me to sing Don't Cry For Me, Argentina at the, like, inaugural event for this thing. And then they had me wearing a sombrero and a poncho. I looked like the mouse, the mouse from fucking, like, Looney Tunes. Singing Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. And I didn't know. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where, like, I didn't know. I was like, okay, sure. I guess
10. This
is what they wear in Argentina. I've never been. You're the Spanish teacher. I'm going to trust you.
Yeah,
and I shouldn't have. In hindsight, I'm so glad video doesn't exist.
Yep.
My mom probably has video of it, but...
that's true. She probably does.
Dan Costa said, did I do a little brown face? No, thank God. I didn't do brown face. Thank God.
Yeah, no.
But when I look back on it, I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have been the head of the Spanish faculty. I don't know. Like, maybe that's not a position that you were.
Yeah, just maybe. I'm a little suspicious about your ability to, I mean.
Well, and looking back, I'm like, why didn't they have me sing in Spanish? Like, I sang in all, like, God, like, when I was that age, like, there was a concert I did 17 languages. So I was like, why did you have me sing a song in English written by a white British man? Why didn't I sing, like, some Spanish folk song or something?
Yeah.
Like, what were we doing? And every time I think about it, I'm like, that is the biggest failure I've ever been a part of.
You're like, who conceptualized this? You can still do it. You still pull it off.
Oh, man. It was,
See, I don't know where
something.
well, I guess because it's Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. I definitely got to be in the kids' choir at Storybook for Evita. That was fun.
Yeah. Oh, Evita's a great show. It's, it's beautifully written. And, obviously Patty is Patty. Go watch Agatha All Along. It's very good.
Guys, Patty is Patty.
To anyone of any form of Hispanic heritage, I deeply apologize for what happened when I was 10 years old. It's been 22 years. I'm still sorry.
Yeah.
I started being sorry about 6 years later. I didn't really get that it was bad at the time because I was 10.
Sure.
But now, oh boy.
Yeah.
Not proud of that one.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You live and you learn, right?
Do we? I mean, yeah, I guess I have lived and I have learned because I'm like, oh, that wasn't good. That was a bad.
Exactly.
That was a bad.
Yeah, you're like, no, actually, no.
The story that I'm trying to tell you guys is don't listen to adults. They don't know better. They're not smarter.
That is so true.
It's like right when you're a kid, don't listen to adults. It's not worth it.
Like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, when you're an adult, you just kind of like get it, right? You just like know what's going on.
Yeah, that's so true.
And like as an adult, I'm like, no, Not even, like, a little bit. Like,
I can't run my own life. And, like, the idea that I would, like, tell a bunch of people what to do is just crazy to me.
Yeah. It is, that was definitely one of the, like, weirdest shifts for me, is realizing my conception of adults as, like, as a kid, and now being an adult, looking back and being like, I had the wrong idea.
Which is why we're talking about Oathbringer today. Oathbringer.
We are? Oh, I haven't read it.
Oh, no, we're not. We haven't read it yet.
Oh, yeah. I was like, damn. I woefully unprepared for book club.
Guys, wait. I read all of Oathbringer this week. I fucked up. No.
Could you imagine? I would have known if you had read a fucking 130 chapter book.
God,
You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
No, this is why we're talking about Edge Dancer, which is what I meant to say, because Lyft doesn't listen to adults.
True. Honestly, that's true.
Facts. If you want to know how we can afford to do this, it's mostly because of y'all, but also because this podcast is brought to you by Gamer Subs.
Gamer Subs. I have So Depressed Despair with my big titty waifu just joining me for the afternoon. Use code CLAROS, CLAROOS, to get 10% off your order. They have fancy metal cups now, which are really fucking nice.
I don't think you can get those right now. I think they're sold out.
Well, sucks to suck.
I bought them.
They're also putting out a new flavor of the AFK.
Yeah.
It's like a lemon blueberry or something. Oh my god.
Guys, if you are looking for energy without the crash, I recommend Gamer Subs. That's how it hits me. I'm drinking Nuclear Bombsicle. I'm not going to hold up in the ad though, because all of our Gamer Subs cups are at the other house. So I'm drinking out of a
non-waifu
I know.
cup.
What a slut.
Shame on you.
But if you also want to go to bed, we just tried their new AFK. It's their, like, non-melatonin sleep aid. It's based on magnesium.
Yeah.
It's raspberry sorbet, and it is so delicious.
It's really good. The flavor's
It's so good.
The flavor's really strong, so definitely, you know.
You don't need as much scoops. Wise.
Yeah. Put a little bit less in. Start with a little bit less, and then add as you like. But it's delicious. It's great before bedtime. So it just, like, chills you the fuck out.
And it's just like a to your brain and you're out. Yeah.
Blue says they've been downing Anime Girl Thigh, which is your favorite flavor.
Anime Girl Thigh is my favorite flavor.
Yeah. We have
I do
3 tubs of Anime Girl Thigh.
One of them is empty.
Oh, okay.
We have one caffeinated and one non-caffeinated.
Yeah. And if you just want a tasty drink, just get the non-caffeinated version.
Yes, Samantha,
full of vitamins.
Non-hormonal alternative in AFK. Guys, it's really good. We talk about them all the time. We've been drinking Gamer Subs every day for 3 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it is a product that I stand by.
Yeah.
I put so much of it in my body, and I feel great.
Day, yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're still alive. We're doing okay. So you should get some and use my code. Kenny, welcome back to the Nerds Radio. In America, we call the main character Elevator. I don't get it.
The main character Elevator. Oh, Lift.
Oh my god.
We were on another thing. He was still talking about Edge Dancer.
I hated that.
Yeah.
That is fucking awful.
You've ever been a member for 33 months, though. Holy shit.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking around, even when I don't get your puns and I need them explained to me.
To be fair, you need most things explained to you. Johnny Coleman comes in with the first question here in the questions tab over on Discord. If you're not a member of our Discord, you should join up. You can talk to people who understand these books better than we do and have a gay old time in the spoiler chat where we don't know what's going on.
One more thing before we get into it.
Really? Really?
We're this close to 70K on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
We're like 23 people away. We might hit it this book club. So if you happen to have 23 friends, you want to come to subscribe.
Or 23 backup accounts that you just haven't subscribed to the Nerdy Nightly.
Yeah.
We are so close to 70,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
If you want to help us out, make a new email, make a YouTube account, and then subscribe to the Nerdy Nightly.
I think that's... I don't know if they like that very much, but it's fine.
I don't know that they care. I'm assuming that we actually have like 45,000 subs. And then we have like 25,000 accounts
just random backup accounts?
Well, but backup accounts and like...
bots.
Well, I'm sure some of them are bots.
Yeah.
And also accounts that like have not been signed into in 3 years.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know, like there's a laptop somewhere with the password, but the person using the account doesn't actually have the password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I was like, maybe YouTube is like Reddit, where if you make a backup account and you go upvote your own post, they like will ban you.
If you upvote your own post?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you automatically upvote your own post when you post.
No, I mean like on your backup account.
Isn't that why it starts with 1?
If you switch accounts, if you go to your backup account and then you upvote that post from your other account.
How would they know that it's your backup account?
I don't know how they know, but they fucking know. Okay. I got a warning.
All right. Johnny Coleman is the first question of the day about Words of Radiance and Edge Dancer. Dancer. Give me the news. I got a bad case of dancing you.
I don't know that one.
You don't know Doctor?
No.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Nope.
You don't know that? How have you never heard that before?
I don't know.
How is that possible? It's in like so many commercials.
Maybe it's just not that good and I didn't pay attention.
What the fuck? That's not even like a pop culture. It's just like it's a thing that's used for so many meta pop culture things that it's
doesn't ring a bell.
That's wild.
I don't have time to find new songs, okay?
Oh my
Spotify
God.
just feeds me the new Weird Al stuff, and I am satisfied.
No, you've listened to The Road from fucking Agatha.
That's true. I had listened to that.
And the new Tom Bombadil song, and you just split back and forth between the two of them.
That is true.
Fuck, marry, kill, says Johnny Coleman. Talking Sword Edition, Sylphrena, Pattern, and Nightblood. Well, Nightblood I'm killing, because I'm not having sex with a monstrosity.
Yeah, I don't trust Nightblood, you know what I mean?
I guess I'm fucking Syl and marrying Pattern? Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with the same.
Yeah, because...
Pattern's my favorite.
Because if I marry Pattern, then he encourages me to lie to other people. And if I marry Syl, she's going to be on my ass about being... Like, here's the thing. Syl...
You can't get away with shit.
Syl can turn into a hot lady. You know what I mean? Very fun. But... Like, Syl is going to make you be honest with people about why you're leaving Thanksgiving. And it's like, let me tell a little white lie. Nobody's hurt by me. You know, like, Syl...
I really need to shit my pants, so I need to leave this event right now.
Yeah. Whereas Pattern is like, let's tell a little white lie. It's going to be okay.
Uh-huh.
We're going to get through it. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't need to hurt people's feelings. And now I just, like, I'm not fucking... I can't marry Syl. She's too honorable. She's going to be annoying.
Yeah, Daniel Glasser says Nightblood is killing you. That's why. That's what I mean. Like,
that's why I'm killing. That's why Nightblood is out of the equation. I'm not fucking Nightblood, and then it saps my soul or some shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm not risking it. Sorry.
Also, Pattern's face is basically tentacles. Who knows what he can do with those?
Tentacles?
When he's in his like standing form, it's like. Blah, 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 blah.
I definitely did not think of them as tentacles.
He might have the like dopest penis you've ever seen.
Here's the thing.
It could just slither all up in there.
I think that Windle. No, I.
Windle?
Yeah, Windle would actually be the tentacly one, right? Yeah, the book that we read.
I know. I keep forgetting his name's Windle.
It is.
I keep calling him like Windex and.
I just love that like the sprens and names are so fucking random. Like Pattern is a pattern, and Sylphrena is like the fucking like most pretentious like elf name you've ever heard. And then Windle is like the fucking tinkerer gnome that lives in a hovel that you visit for explosives. You know,
that's a character I would absolutely create for Astral Dusk.
100%.
You want to know why? Because we did that. Yeah. Except
exactly.
She was from the book. I didn't create her.
Fair.
Judah Canizera says, do you get powers if you F a spren?
Probably not.
No, not unless you're...
I don't think so.
Here's the thing. If you dirty talk while you do it, I think you do.
You maybe just say the right words.
I think the 10th words are, I'm going to fuck you so hard. And then that's how you get, like, the final powers.
Gotcha. Okay. That's, like, the final oath.
Carrion says, Windle is Giles from Buffy. Windle is who Giles pretends to be in Buffy. But he's not who Giles actually is in Buffy.
I have not seen Buffy.
And when you get deep enough in the series and you find out some shit about Giles and you're like, oh, fuck. And then when you, like, turn 25 and you're like, oh, was Anthony Swordhead the hottest person on that show? When did that happen?
You became an adult.
What the fuck? Why is that man so attractive all of a sudden when you rewatch the show as a grown person?
Judah, thank
and
you
all
for
the
that super chat.
Teenagers are just not as hot anymore because you're like, I don't really want to have sex with a high school girl. But Anthony Swordhead is
it's called growing
so
up.
hot.
Yeah.
In that show.
It's called maturity.
Especially in like season 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'll probably watch Buffy one day.
I'll watch it tonight. It's, we should start with the movie. You should watch the movie first. Really? Even though it's completely unrelated in a lot of ways, but it is a classic and I love it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's get into Fabrial's Our Science, a person who probably had a different name on book club before, but changed it to fuck with me.
No, they definitely changed it just to fuck with you. They ask, if Eshonai dies, how would you like that to be handled?
On screen?
And if Eshonai lives, how would you like that to be handled?
Well, the if Eshonai lives thing is too broad, right? Because... I think. Do you mean like in this moment of falling into the cavern?
I think that, yeah.
Oh, Eshonai has to live. If Eshonai dies, that fucking sucks. I literally hate it.
Yeah, the reason that Eshonai falling and like it feeling weird is because it feels like every death at the end of this book is a fake out death.
Yeah.
But I think that Eshonai has to live.
Yeah, I agree.
Narratively, otherwise it's very unsatisfying.
Well, it's unsatisfying, and also
here's the thing.
The interludes. She got so much time in the interludes that like if that doesn't pay off in anything other than she went to the war, she became a victim, and then when no one knew her pain, she died off page after being like the most fake out death, which is I pushed her into a cavern and I never saw what happened to her again. Like it's like. If she never comes back, what the fuck are we doing?
I'm really hopeful that the group of Parshendi that got away, find her in the chasm and are able to find a way to change her form.
What the fuck happened with them? I was really shocked that they never came back at the end of the book.
That's what I mean. I think they have like a part to play. We just haven't got there yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this book that like I think what holds it back from being a book that is like my favorite, because I think there's a lot of elements that could push it there, is that sort of I don't know how to rate or like talk about this series in some ways, because it is so dependent on the next book.
Yeah.
And as a series it's a great reading experience, but as a like book, and I know I've said this over and over and over again, but I just keep thinking about this in that like I don't know that as a single book I think that this was a great experience, but I do want to continue on the Stormlight Archive experience,
right?
But I don't know that I love the Words of Radiance experience on its own,
right?
And it's a really interesting. I've never read a book series that is so uncontained as this in my life. I just haven't, right? I've never read anything that had that left its arcs so uncompleted,
right?
Intentionally, right? And it's not a flaw, it's a feature.
Yeah.
And so I understand why people love this series so much, because it is sort of that like tumbling through plot feeling that never stops. But I also think that there's some arc issues because of it, where like payoffs get a little bit muddled, and there's just so much in these books that is like, this will eventually get to something with this, but for now we're gonna drop this. Like the art smasher in book 1. Yeah. Where I'm like, why was that there? It didn't thematically fit in with what the story was. It didn't world build because I didn't understand any of it.
The arcs kind of all like instead of all of the arcs kind of going like this throughout the book.
Okay, guys, sorry, I'm gonna let you finish that thought. Don't bring up Crossroads of Twilight. It is one of the worst books I've ever read in my life. This is still an A. You know what I mean? This is an A+ book. It's just not an S tier book. Yeah. Crossroads of Twilight is maybe the worst fantasy novel I've ever read in my entire... Please don't compare them. Like, they are not comparable experiences.
I just feel like the plot lines so far in this series have been more like there's a bunch that kind of like bleed into one another and go over, as opposed to they all kind of carry the same structure in a book. They keep like... I don't know how to explain it. But Brian, I just want to say, Brian, thank you for that super chat. Before I didn't want it to disappear. Nightblood during sex would be like, hello, would you like to destroy some virginity today? Consensually speaking, of course. I don't know.
I'm charmed that you think I am ever near virgins. My friends are all degenerates. I'm in musical theater.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I don't actually think I know a single virgin.
I did a show The Virgin once, and it was like a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Where we would sit in the green room and be like, "What's that like?" We're all fucking whores. Like, Logan, thank you for joining the Nerds of Radiance.
Hell welcome in.
No, but so the point I want to make here though is like, one of the weird things about the arcs of this book is that like Dalinar's plot in this book, right? Mm-hmm. Dalinar's plot doesn't really go anywhere within what he desired. They just end up going to Urethra because he accidentally stumbles on that being where he needs to end up being. Mm-hmm. But it isn't his goal. Like, his goal is not to go to Urethra, right?
No, but it was Shalyn's goal.
Kind of, but she doesn't know why.
Nope, it 100% was her goal.
Well, but her goal is to continue Jasna's research.
Which was to get to...
But hear me out. Is to continue Jasna's research to figure out why she needs to go there. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, the goals of this book are like, we're still in the phase of this, 2,500 pages in, where our characters are still trying to figure out why they're doing the things that they're doing. They know they need to do them because a god in the past told them to without context, and because their mentor who died on a boat told them to without context. But our character...
Without context?
Jasna has not really explained to...
Jasna is
I don't think Jasna knew until...
Parshmen are void bringers.
Sure, but even Jasna didn't know how going to Urithiru was going to affect that, right? The characters have the idea of what they need to be doing in order to accomplish not apocalypse.
Yeah.
But no one has, and I think that Jasna will bring that in Oathbringer, which is why I think that Oathbringer might end up being my favorite of these books so far, is because we'll finally have a character who's a POV character who comes to the plot and is like, I can explain why some of this shit is happening, as opposed to it all just being like, well, we vaguely need to go end the war, so we're going to walk out on the plains, and then this girl's going to show up who comes up with a map, and so she's going to realize at the last minute that we're kind of totally fucked because my plan was bad, and so she manages to magically open a waygate because she happens to be a thing that we didn't know that we needed until we got here.
How, like, plot and story works. Like, if you're scaling a cliff, you don't jump to the top. You grab a handhold on the way up, and you keep grabbing handholds, and sometimes those handholds go sideways, and sometimes you have to circle back around to get back up.
But the resolution of all of this is going to be in like book 5. The resolution in this book is just like, oh, cool, we made it through a waygate we didn't know that we were walking towards. Thank God. For the majority of our characters.
The Knights Radiant are like reformed.
And kind of. Yeah. That's the goal, right? The Knights Radiant are reformed to do what? Right?
To stop the Everstorm.
Again, sure. Yeah, we're gonna doobly do the dobbity dob. You know what I mean? Like that. None of our characters have context for how what they want to accomplish is going to accomplish what they want, and so the that's what I mean by it sort of tumbles into the next thing, where like our characters have to spend the beginning of the next book still trying to figure out. They got to a point, a hard stop, right? Where even at the end of this book, the Stormbringer is like, oh yeah, you did that. But like you're fucked. Like you're still fucked. You haven't actually accomplished anything because this won't work. And Dalinar's like, well, we're gonna do it anyway. And it's like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I think it's boring if the characters just know the exact steps that they want to take to achieve their goal.
I disagree with that.
I think
characters having a next step to follow is interesting. I think the majority of books. I heavily disagree with you.
All right.
Because that's like saying The Lord of the Rings is bad because they know they need to destroy the ring for the whole book.
No, I think that everyone has an end goal, right? Stop the Everstorm.
That's not a goal. That is a idea that is a good idea, but there's no actionable steps in Stop the Everstorm. The way there is, we need to take the ring to Mordor and we need to destroy it, right? Okay. At some point, this series is going to have to be about these characters having a thing that they want to do that they have some reason to believe will affect the plot of the book.
Yeah, which is stop the Everstorm.
There's no actionable steps towards that. It is a storm that just whips around. I know. That's my point. But our characters, none of our characters have...
Well, it's the same thing in Aragon. Aragon, this is like mild spoilers for like the first book. Aragon is trying to live a life, and then decides he's got to defeat Galbatorix. How the fuck's he going to defeat Galbatorix? Well, we'll figure that out later.
Is not the plot of Aragon. Importantly, not the plot of Aragon.
I would disagree with that.
The plot of book 1 is, I have to get to a place where I am safe. Right? He knows where that is because he's an elf friend, and it's the plot of getting there.
That takes a long time, right?
And then it's, I need to find a teacher to teach me how to do the thing. And so in book 2, he does that. And then in book 3, he learns, he goes and finds out the information, and then that teacher character is like, here is the context for how Galbatorix is so powerful and how you can do something. And so at the end of each of those books, there's an actionable step that they take forward that leads them to, at the end of the book, knowing what their next step is going to be.
Well, that's why I think that
these books don't. I'm just saying that it's a structure difference. These books don't do that. These books just tumble into the next book, and there's no room for a time gap between books, because otherwise it has to be massive exposition at the beginning of the next book, because we haven't set up what our characters want to be doing in a time gap between books.
I just think that the book perfectly sets up that Shallan has to go to Urithiru. And then we get there. Like, that is definitely, like, a full arc plotline that is resolved. She, like, gets what she wants. She achieves her goal so that she can then figure out what the next goal is.
James Ross, thank you for that super chat. Or thank you for being a Nerd's Radiant. Nerdy, you're explaining parallel plot structure to The Expanse?
Parallel plot structure to The Expanse.
How am I explaining parallel plot structure to The Expanse? Oh, Garam, thank you for 10 gifted memberships.
Garam, thank you so much.
That's amazing.
So many members.
You're so nice. So many people can listen to the upcoming audiobook reactions because they start up again this week.
I was gonna say, we're doing audiobooks again, or audiobook reactions again, which will be fun. I don't know what.
Blue says, sometimes I want to see Nerdy read Slice of Life because it would be funny for him to read something that doesn't really have a plot. If it's 1,000 pages, I think I will get bored. If it's like a 200-page Slice of Life, I love Slice of Life. I just think that context matters, right? Like, Slice of Life stuff where literally nothing happens is boring. Slice of Life stuff where the relationships are really interesting is great. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to lie to you, if it's Slice of Life written like this, where it's all internal monologues and people are just depressed and nothing happens, I would hate it, right?
Yeah, if it's just like Kaladin, like, slowly dying at Bridge 4.
What I like about a Slice of Life thing is the conversations and the way characters... one of my favorite books is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Very little happens in that book, right? But like the way it emotionally resonates with me is... It touched like my inner teen and you know, was like exercising a demon of my youth. I don't think... And maybe that's not Slice of Life, but... My point about these books is not that it's bad. I like it. I do like it. I'm trying to explain the like... reason why the plot doesn't feel like it resolves here to me, and it's because it just kind of hard stops at you did something but it doesn't matter, and this aspect of God matter? Everything they've done doesn't matter at the end of this book. That's what the Stormlord says. You can't tell me that's not what the Stormlord says. You can't tell me that that's not true. It is. Dalinar's talking to the Stormlord. I don't know how you're having this reaction right now.
I'm shocked.
Dalinar's talking to the Stormlord, and he goes, okay, so, like, I'm a Radiant now. What are we doing? And the Stormlord just says, in the fucking book, it doesn't matter. You're not going to succeed. You're going to fail. You're going to die.
So you trust him?
No, it's not that I trust him. It's that this book doesn't end on... Dalinar's commitment to doing something is not the same as there being an actionable next step for the book to take, right?
They literally reform the Knights Radiant, and
that doesn't mean anything. That is just work. That is just magic shit.
Uh-huh.
That has no context for how that is going to change the situation that they're in. So
they
more of
can
them have
literally
superpowers now.
Teleport places.
That doesn't change the world situation. Teleporting is useless in the face of your crops dying. It just is. That's just a fact of life. It doesn't matter how much technology we develop as humanity. If we can't grow food, we fucking die.
I disagree with you. So
I don't know how you can disagree with me. That's what there's no actionable next step at the end of this book. That is not there isn't. Every single plot line ends on the apocalypse came and there's nothing you can do about it. And in the next book, we're going to have to have
book next time. Like, I don't...
No,
I'm confused.
The next book has to start with our characters, once again, trying to figure out what to do, because they have no fucking clue. There's no direction now. Yasna, and maybe it's that Yasna shows up and, like, explains to them what they have to do next, because she was off not dying somewhere. But for our characters, they're in Urithiru going, we have superpowers now. Does anyone know how to stop Magic Storm from... Does anyone know where... I guess we read, right? I guess they go to the library and they just start reading.
Kaladin goes to save his family.
Yeah, no, and that's great. Like, I'm not mad that he's saving his family. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, for the epic fantasy of this epic fantasy, the Oathbringer is... Here's my prediction. The first third of Oathbringer is going to be a pretty slow book. Because our characters are going to have to kind of figure out and come up with a way for the book to start to go somewhere new. Because everything has changed. And also, there's no, like, next step. Now, either that, or it's going to be real tense because Adelin's going on trial. Right? Like, one of those two things will happen, but I'm predicting the next book will start off with our characters just kind of in Urithiru while the world is collapsing, and Kaladin saving his family, and that'll kind of be the fun, action-y side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But for the characters in Urithiru, they have to go through Urithiru and hope that there's a book somewhere that explains how they can do something to stop a storm that's never happened before. And that's not particularly riveting content to me, but I hope they find a way to make that interesting. But there isn't like we're going to go do this. They have no idea what to do next. They have powers, yeah. They have superpowers and no direction. Because the storm is, it's a storm. It's like saying like, oh, well, we'll just go stop a hurricane. We can't, I mean, I know some people on Twitter think that we can control hurricanes, but there isn't like a...
Insane.
I think that Oathbringer probably starts off a little bit slow. I won't be surprised if the beginning of the next book is our characters in Urithiru having superpowers, but not having, like, a thing to go do. Unless Taravangian, like, makes his way there, and he's like...
Well, then these books don't tumble...
6 years ago, I snorted cocaine, and I came up with this wall of shit! You know what I mean? Like...
Then the books don't really tumble into one another if they have that, like, structure.
But these books always just... There's no break, right? There's no time skip. I think the next book will start the next day because Adolin killed... Here's the problem. You can't do a time skip because Adolin killed Sadeas.
And nobody saw him.
The book has to get into that, what the immediate aftermath of that was, because Adolin murdered somebody for the first time. And if we just skip over one of our main characters' huge emotional arcs, right? Which is he murdered someone in a hallway and is trying to hide it, or is caught for it, or whatever. If they're like 6 months later, I'm going to be like, what the fuck do you mean 6 months later? What happened?
Well, like, yeah, it can't be 6 months later as well, because that storm is coming back around.
James Ross, no, sorry, we read that one. Samantha A, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
Sanderson likes his characters to be on the back foot to keep stakes high. It doesn't really bother me, but I think overall I agree with Nerdy, where I like my characters to have clearer direction. I don't need them to have clear direction all the time. We're 2 books in and they've never had a clear direction. Like, they've always kind of been like, oh yeah, hey, look, do you notice that?
There are, like, a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
Which I do find interesting, and I think that Sanderson's able to keep that interesting.
Yeah. And I think that that's fair. I don't think it's not interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that sometimes it's a little bit, like, deflate. Like, if I had to wait 3 years for the next book, I'd be like, okay, I hope I remember what fucking happened in this book.
Yeah. Judah, thank you for that super chat. So I felt similarly after watching Last Jedi, where I didn't know where things were going to go after that movie. Big diff for me, though, is Words of Radiance, that I'm confident there are steps, I just can't see them yet. Sure. And that's the thing, is I feel like...
Yeah. That's fair.
I feel like we have read enough Sanderson, and especially, I think Mistborn. Mistborn does a lot of, like, faith building for me. Like, I'm like, we're gonna get it at some point.
Yeah, no, and I agree about The Last Jedi. Like, I like The Last Jedi for the, like, art of it. I don't think it's a good middle movie.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
I think, like, structurally it's a bad movie in a trilogy. Because it sets up the Rise of Skywalker so poorly.
Yeah.
But there's so much in that movie that I fucking love. Especially the Force Skyping scenes. I think those are just brilliantly done. And the sound design of them.
Force Skyping?
Well, I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Force Skyping scenes are great. I also love the sound design of the moment in the rain. When they're Force Skyping and it's raining over the Millennium Falcon. I think the sound design of that is, like, one of the greatest sound design moments in, like, the last 10 years in film. It's so... I remember seeing it and, like, alone in a Japanese... Or no. That one I saw it in a packed Japanese movie theater.
Right.
When I was living there. And, it's great. Really cool.
Yeah.
Next
question is from Pilks. Given we know what shard blades are, what do you think shard plate is?
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Because I don't think it can also be spren, right? Like, that would be weird.
Well, here's the thing. There's no screaming when you touch shard plate.
Well, no, because he's never put it on. He doesn't know that.
Well, Renarin, I think, would have said. Like, Renarin has no problem being in the plate. It was the blade.
Oh, it grows. Maybe it's cultivation spren. Maybe the like blades are of honor and the plate is of cultivation.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe that's the like bond between the two good gods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, maybe. Yeah, it grows.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting.
Garam's right. Cal did put that helm on his hand to use as a buckler.
Right, good pull. Yeah. So I can't imagine that it is spread.
That's a
it has
good
to be something
point.
different.
Yeah, I dig that.
Shard,
Fuck, I don't know.
Shard plate.
I'm not gonna lie. I have a feeling it's just gonna be a thing they made.
The Radiance made.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like
I mean, maybe they have the power to fucking resurrect people, so they probably made shard plate.
I'm gonna go with it's something they made. I don't think it can be another. But it grows. It's the fact that it grows that is so weird, right?
Well, you have to feed it Stormlight, right?
Yeah, but you have to feed everything that grows. Like, and anything that grows has to be fed. Nothing grows naturally.
Yeah, but like we know that Fabrials use Stormlight. So I guess it's just a Fabrial that the Radiance made. But
it specifically grows like the hardest substance on Earth that also gives you superpowers, right? Like it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to find out. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'm excited for Cal to put it on and for it to like light up and go full Iron Man.
Yeah, right.
I'm assuming he gets shard plate in the next book.
The shard plate affects, like, the superpowers, though. Remember?
I don't think it does if you're a Radiant. I think it does if you're using an Honor Blade. I think that it affects Zeth.
It fucks up Zeth.
Because Zeth doesn't have the powers innately, but because he has them from the sword. So I think there's something about, like... I think it would even be possible that if he wasn't wearing the gauntlet and he was still touching the sword, he would be able to use the powers.
Maybe.
I don't know. Because the Radiants were able to fly in the visions of the past, I think that it has something to do with Zeth having an Honor Blade and not with Kaladin having... Not with Surge Binding as a Radiant.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Pilks also asked, what powers do you think the Radiants have that we have not seen?
Man, just incredible libido. Just the ability to impregnate so many.
I mean, there's so many Sons of Honor
fields.
And stuff.
Hey. The daughters of cultivation plow them fields. You know what I mean?
Gotta be plowed.
Yeah. They can get through pregnancy faster. So like typically 9 months, but if you're a Radiant of cultivation, you're just popping them out.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
Speeding up your pregnancies, having more babies to repopulate the Earth after the desolation. It's an important power in this world because we need to repopulate the Earth after desolations. And so they've developed a magical ability to make women just...
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And then they rub a little Stormlight on it afterwards, get that shit tight again.
Gross. Oh my god. Men, am I right? Jesus Christ.
It's the most disgusting thing I've ever said.
Probably. Yeah, I think that's up there.
Sometimes I say like just the worst shit just to see if I can get Clarus mad at me. You know what I mean? Stormlight baby oil. Oh no, it's the Diddy. Oil? It's Diddy as a Radiant.
Lube?
Yeah.
Why not just use lube?
We don't need to get into the Diddy of it all. There's so much coming out about that. And you choose to say it on the internet while being recorded. Embrise, I'm already married. Like,
you're gonna get canceled.
I'm not gonna get canceled.
Someone's gonna take this out of context.
If anyone's gonna take anything I've said out of context, it would have happened by now. You know what I mean?
We'll see, yeah.
I think people know I'm joking. And if people don't know I'm joking, I don't really care. Because those people probably aren't smart enough to like that I would want to engage with them in the future.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If people are like, wow, that Nerdy Nightly is a real misogynistic guy, I really like, I'd be like, okay,
be like, come to book club.
James Ross says canceling isn't real. That's so true.
Yeah, I know.
That is Donald Trump's running for president for a third time. Like, if canceling worked, grab him by the pussy would have ended his career.
Yeah, exactly.
Edge dancers don't need lube. That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
But Lift is a child, so we don't make jokes about that yet.
There will be other edge dancers, and there have been.
And we'll make jokes about them when we meet them. But there is not an edge dancer that we can make jokes about right now because she's a child.
I don't know what powers.
Oh, right, the question.
They would have, because like we've already seen them like.
Well, what are the forces?
Bring people back from the dead.
So gravity, healing. Gravity, healing, friction.
The changing something into another thing.
Oh, soul casting.
That's it. Yeah. I failed physics.
What are we missing? What does Cal have? Cal has.
He can stick things to things. Gravity.
That's gravity.
And he can.
Although it's not really. Is it
fly,
gravity?
I guess.
Have we seen both of Cal's powers, or is everything the same powers? Open up the Ars Arcanum and lists the surges. Is that spoiling? Light weaving, right?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously spoiling because we haven't gotten there yet.
Adhesion. Okay, so it's not gravity. He's literally sticking things together.
No, he's changing where the gravity
No, it looks like it's adhesion and gravity.
That should be the same fucking thing.
Well, and that's where all of it gets super weird, because like soul casting and like it's changing one thing into another could be so many different things. Like soul casting could be healing, you know what I mean? Because what's different, like closing a wound by changing it into not being a wound, I don't know. It gets into like weird.
I guess.
Judah Kaiser, thank you for that super chat. Out of Alamancy Fair, can be Surge Binding, Aeon's Awakening, which would you rather have, and which do you think has greater potential in a free-for-all?
Alamancy.
Alamancy has the best potential in a free-for-all, for sure.
There's so much diversity there.
I mean, if there's no metal, obviously Alamancy's the worst. But if you can have metals on you,
yeah,
just Atium is stronger than all the rest combined. Even if you were just a pretty strong, competent fighter with just Atium, you could probably beat most people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think Alamancy is just... Yeah, I think Alamancy's definitely the strongest. By far. I don't think it's even close, right?
That would be my pick.
Yeah.
But you could probably use any of the other ones in a creative way. The Aeons just takes too long.
You can use them creatively, but like... But at the end of the day, like creativity is not going to beat Alamancy. If you're like a full on Mistborn, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're like a
I guess that depends. Yeah, like, if you are a Mistborn versus just like one of the 10.
But like if you're a coin shot, you're killing most people.
As long as there's metal.
Yeah, like let's be real. Like if you're a coin shot, you're killing the majority of these things.
Unless you just pull a Yasna and you just like turn people to smoke. As long as there's enough Stormlight. But the thing is that all of these powers... I think
there's a range issue there.
Have, a range and a cost.
Yeah.
And so it depends where the free-for-all is happening, right?
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, no, I think it's always going to be Alamancy unless Radiance. Radiance would heal from coins eventually, but like... It depends on if you run out of coins, right? Like,
yeah, I think I'd have the most fun with Alamancy though is like a Mistborn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that like if a Radiant had all the powers, then they would probably be the strongest. Like Mistborn's unfair, right? Because the Mistborn aren't limited to 2 of the 10.
Yeah.
They get all 10, and they get them all at all times, and one of those is seeing the future. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once you put Adium into the question, it's like, well, how do you fight that?
Yeah.
They can see the future of what I'm going to do, and I can't see what they're going to do. So, and they also have superpowers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if Clark Kent could also foresee everything, Superman is, already OP, but like, there's just nothing that you can do.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Mew says, Radiance do get a Shard Blade. Yeah. I don't really know how much a Shard Blade helps against Alamancers because it has to be metal.
A shard blade?
Yeah.
How do we know that it's actually metal?
Because
what is the composition
they
of a shard
say
blade?
in the book that I can't remember which spine it is, but they say like I can only turn into metal. Everything that I turn into has to be metal. And so it has to be a metal shard blade. And so against a Mistborn, a shard blade isn't actually that
But
useful.
they're on different planets. Is metal the same on different planets?
I mean, I don't know. At that point, I can't have the argument. If it's like, well, on Roshar, metal isn't metal, then we just...
I don't know!
Then what are we doing? You know what I mean?
That's what I mean, is I don't know.
But like, because...
Like, do they have copper?
Because shard blades aren't embedded in your skin...
Yeah. Kiara, welcome back to the Nerds Radiant. Well, are we talking surge binding by the third oath? Because with the healing factor and the soul slashing weapons, it gets kind of OP. I mean, yeah, being able to heal yourself.
Mistborn also have those things. And they can see the future. Like, pewter heals you.
Yeah.
And they control your metal weapon.
Yeah.
Mistborn just kind of has a counter for everything, and they see the future.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like, how do you beat that?
Yeah. I don't know. This question is too complicated.
Now, if you can't allomancy the weapon, the problem is you can't embed your... If you could, like, pierce your own arm with your shard blade, and then use it like that, then they wouldn't be able to allomancy it, right?
Damn.
So, like, but then your arm's dead. Don't know that that's a great plan.
No. What if you had your shard blade and it just sticks a needle through your pinky?
Then maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Maybe. If you could not lose control of your shard blade and the Allomancer doesn't have ATM, I think it's a pretty fair fight.
Yeah.
If either of those things are not true, though, the Allomancer wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Lit RPG and Cultivation Enjoyer asks, with the power to control Light Shallangot, do you think she could open a man-sized hole in a wall?
Probably not, right? With her shard blade, she obviously could.
Sure, she can also soul cast, though, so she could just turn the wall into
smoke,
and then...
Yeah, I'm thinking about soul casting. I was trying to think of a way that light weaving could break a wall, and I was like, I don't think that would work. Mm-hmm. But no, right, she's also a soul caster. She just never uses it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
God damn it. Brady Flanagan asks, rank the following action scenes. All right. So there's Gavilar's assassination.
Yeah.
Chasm Fiend Hunt.
Okay.
I'm assuming they mean the one with Elokar.
Yeah, that's the only Chasm Fiend Hunt.
Well, it could be the fight with Kaladin versus a Chasm Fiend. Kaladin's...
I mean, that's not really a hunt, though. That's an accident.
Yeah.
They do not go there on purpose.
Yeah. Kaladin saves Dalinar at the tower.
Yeah.
Kaladin versus Szeth round 1 in the war camp. Whitespine uncaged, and Kaladin versus Szeth round 2 in the sky.
Ooh.
The following action scenes. Here's the thing. I think that Gavilar's assassination is so strong because it starts off the book.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, it's really hard to compare to that, like, gut punch. Like that is, what a way to start to the whole thing off, right?
It's tough. I think that Whitespine Uncaged would be the best for me if it weren't for the whole, like, oh, well, now that it's already started, the rules are actually that 2 more people can enter the fight. Like, every time I think about Whitespine Uncaged, I get frustrated that that's how it's set up because everything else about it's so fucking good.
So where do you rank it?
Like, right in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Of these. Like, I think that Kaladin saves Dalinar at the tower is high. Chasm Fiend Hunt is probably in last place among these fights.
Really? I'm going to say Kaladin versus Szeth round 1 is my
I'm putting that just above Chasm Fiend Hunt.
Sure.
Like, I'm going like Chasm Fiend Hunt, Kaladin, Szeth round 1.
These are all, like, bangers. Like, none of these are bad, but my order is Gavilar's assassination, Whitespine Uncaged, Kaladin versus Szeth round 2, Sorry. Number 3 is Kaladin saves Dalinar at the tower. That moment was...
It's pretty banger.
Was pretty banger. And then Kaladin versus Szeth in the sky, and then Chasm Fiend Hunt, and then what did I do? Oh, round 1 in the war camp is last. They're all incredible though.
Yeah, my number one. I think my number one might be Gavilar's assassination.
It's such a strong opening.
Yeah, it's just such a strong way to open the book.
Yeah.
But the Kaladin v Szeth in the sky is pretty good. Kaladin v Szeth in the sky is a little bit hindered to me by the Szeth revival.
Well, that's why I put Kaladin saving Dalinar first, like above it.
It is interesting that the things that I love, that I want to love more, are both hindered by like introducing things after the fact to kind of undo them, to undo the hype a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I hope that these books don't keep doing that, because I do think that Brandon Sanderson writes really epic, wonderful things, and then kind of undoes his own hype because he doesn't want to lose his toys.
A little bit.
At
some moments, I think.
Yeah.
Or he's like, well, I need this person for this purpose. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't love that. It's not my favorite thing about Stormlight right now. And in a world of things I love, right? Like there's so much about the series I love, but it's sort of the way Brandon Sanderson wants to keep his mysteries alive, and so I think that's what it is, right? I think that Brandon Sanderson has already chosen before this series started what the big reveals at the end of each of his Sanderlanches was going to be. Mm-hmm. And so each of these books, to me, feels hamstrung a little bit by his need to keep things back so that book 5 can still have a big reveal that ties all the way to Gavilar's assassination. And so I, as a person who feels that in the book, get frustrated in a way that people who don't care about that as much don't, right? Sure. And so people who don't have that same, that same experience of it being like, I get it, you came up with a bunch of reveals that you wanted to have at specific times, but like these characters are just shambling around the plains because they don't know what the fuck's going on. Other people are like, I cannot wait to get to those reveals. And so it is the difference of our experience that is why like this book is like the best fantasy book ever to so many people. Yeah. And it's like the third best Brandon Sanderson book to me. Yeah. Right? It's still the third best Brandon Sanderson. I still like it a lot. But I do kind of have this feeling of like, I get it. You want to get to a big reveal in book 4, and so we're just not going to do anything right now. Is like, okay, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it that way. But it makes it, I feel it especially in the interludes. Okay. Where it's like this is a mystery, or like the crab guy in fucking Edge Dancer, where it's like, yeah, I guess that exists. I don't know how it fits in this world or why, or maybe that's going to be big in book 5. I don't know. You know, it's like, okay. I'm sure glad it helped solve the problem in this book in the back off screen.
Solve a problem?
Well, he kills the 2 minions.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Who I thought were like closer to like an actual like fight for lift. Mm-hmm. But they're just dead off screen because there's a crab guy, and you're like, oh, that's world building. It's not really plot, or like it doesn't have really anything to do with Lift's story, right?
It's just might like be relevant later.
Crazy stuff in Roshar, and you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Yeah. I'm excited to keep finding out the reveals, but I do almost feel a bit like the books are so plotted out that the characters sometimes like need to fit holes a little bit. Okay. Just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's fair at all, or do you disagree?
Yeah. No, I just was waiting for you to rank the...
Oh, let's just go with yours. I don't know. It's kind of like Gavilar's assassination and the saving Dalinar at the tower at the top, and then
okay,
Chasm Fiend Hunt at the bottom, and then both fights with Szeth and White Spine on Cage are just sort of in the middle, where the fighting and the choreography is really good, but the rules and the way that like some of that stuff is introduced mid-fight, or Szeth bringing back after the fight, kind of turns them down a little bit in hindsight.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I Am a Stick says, so could you possibly read the deleted interlude that Brandon wrote and decided not to put in, particularly in a theatrical voice?
How long is this?
I don't know. Can I read this?
We're not committing to...
Oh my god. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Nerdy Nightly Theatre presents Words of Radiance deleted interlude. Stick. I am a 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 stick? I am a stick. I am a stick. I am a stick. I just went full Jeff Goldblum. There you go. That's his. I didn't count how many of them I did.
I need to just talk about Althor says I love Samuel Beckett, and that was very funny to me. Well done. Incredible. You know what? You probably did almost the amount.
I have no idea.
Hey, it was better than the fucking, like, epigraphs that are just like 1274741 1200211771364 feet 31. What? I'm like, I fucking no. Shut up.
Ernest, I'll thank you for that super chat, and the Oscar goes to I am a stick. You're very welcome. I will always do dumb shit. Gambaros, thank you for that super chat. Stand ovation. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chats. Oh my god.
I'm sorry that I annoy you with my opinions, but I entertain you when I don't read my own words. Id versus Ego, I think that is.
Oh my god.
Iceblade, nope. Iceblade 44 says, so in Shadesmar, objects have thoughts. How do you feel knowing that your sex toys can think? God.
I mean, here's a problem. Objects, like, being, like, sentient and having thoughts, but unable to consent in the material plane is very problematic, and I don't want to think about it. So I'm going to move on.
You know what? That's a really good point. It's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great point. Brandon Sanderson writes some weird shit, man. I don't think he always thinks about, like, the, like, moral consequence of if it was real because it's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't think he needs to. But when you have a show where you talk about stuff like this,
yeah,
we're the ones who end up in the position of being like, so, like, does the electric toothbrush's consent matter when a teenage girl tries it for the first time? Like, is that something I need to be concerned about?
Electric toothbrush. Oh, interesting.
That's like the you know.
I would have said like
Polly Pocket's first vibrator.
Is like the first, like,
it's not
for
a vibrator,
lot of people. Though. Sure, I guess. Yeah.
Showerhead is something that I think that you continue to use into adulthood, right? Like, there are women in their 40s that are still using their showerhead.
That's fair.
But, like, I feel like electric toothbrush is something you grow out, you try it,
and then you buy a vibrator. Yeah, for sure.
You can't replace the showerhead with a sex toy, because it is just kind of its own thing. Whereas, like, try an electric toothbrush and then, you know, moving on to a vibrator is...
It's just the natural progression of life.
Sir Jimmer's like, what a knife agree to cut things. Okay. Let's get political, American style. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. But in this world, Shadesmar, the gun would have thoughts. And so guns could technically consent to being murderous.
Sure, but the guns can't shoot themselves. Right?
Yeah,
they can have thoughts and opinions, but they can't, like, act without a human. Hence why...
But guns are meant to cause harm. And every time Shallan's talked to a weapon, they have enjoyed being the thing that they are. Like, they like it.
A weapon?
And so, every time she's talked to anything in the Cognitive realm to try and soulcast it, they've been like, no, I actually love being a gun. So being a gun's great. So, the gun would actually... But here's
could
the
you convince a gun to turn into a boat?
If you got titties like Shallan. Pop those shit together.
She does not really have titties. Yasna's the one with titties.
They're both hot. No. Here's the problem, though. If the gun consents but the bullet doesn't consent...
Those are two separate objects.
Yeah. What if the firing pin doesn't appreciate being inserted into the gun?
I feel like, well, I actually don't know how guns work. I just assumed that was part of the gun.
I am not going to lie. I ignored the whole objects have thoughts thing because I don't think it's that interesting a concept. I think it's actually kind of stupid.
Wow, but it makes for great comedy in Shadesmar.
Yeah, it makes for great comedy. I also think that it's like, the wider effect of it as a concept to me, not great. It's not a criticism because it's a wild thing to create, and I think it's very cool. And like, I'm not criticizing Brandon Sanderson for creating it at all, right? It's just that anytime you try and get into the like actual reality of like an object as a thinking thing, it gets really weird in the like which part of the gun becomes something else.
Right. What is the distinction?
Like how is a boat one thing?
Yeah.
Right? And once you get into that, it stops to make any real sense to me. And so I just kind of like, I tune out the whole like the they have thoughts thing because I'm like, it's magic bullshit. I don't care.
I wonder
it doesn't
if I wonder if because things are like, because the cognitive realm and the spren are basically like personifications of like what like humans have like called things, like they're like a boat is a boat because you say that the whole thing is a boat and it has a name as a boat. So, like, if you, like, an object can be one whole object if we have a word for that entire object. Which is why, like, a gun doesn't ever include a bullet, but a gun includes a trigger. And a gun includes a handle. I don't fucking know. Like,
I am more comfortable with the idea of objects that are deeply personified by people ending up having personalities in Shadesmar, right? Like a boat, like you said, like you name a boat. You give a personality to a boat.
Yeah.
I understand how the pieces of the boat coming together to become a boat makes them a bigger idea, and so it exists in Shadesmar.
Right, but they are still sticks and bolts. And
but the sticks in the boat aren't personified.
No, I know. It is.
Someone brought up the Going Merry, and I can't talk about that because it's spoilers for One Piece. But like, once both a stick and a boat have separate personalities in Shadesmar, it gets too complicated.
Yeah.
But if you were like, hey, this thing was loved by somebody, and so because it was loved by somebody, and like, if Shadesmar is our ideas brought into the world, then a boat would have a better chance of becoming a thing there than a tree. Because a tree is a thing on its own. We didn't have to imagine a tree into existence, but somebody had to like lovingly craft a boat. And so that love and passion and energy could create an idea in the cognitive realm in my mind, right? I get that. But a stick being like, but I have a personality because I'm just a stick.
So
it's like,
maybe,
at what point did you have a different personality from being a tree?
So then maybe a boat can't actually have a personality. It has to be a thing that occurs without human intervention.
No, I'm saying it's the opposite. Because Shadesmar is so connected to, because Spren come from the ideas of humanity.
But it can't be because the stick is the stick. So the boat can't be a boat in Shadesmar. No. The boat has to be made up of the individual pieces before humans put them together.
I'm saying it's the opposite.
Yeah, no, I'm arguing with you.
Right. And my argument is that Spren come from human imagination. And so everything in Shadesmar should be what we have personified.
So
not the other way around.
Because there's a planet of Spren somewhere.
Because it was imagined by people, I'm assuming.
Maybe.
Logan, thank you for that super chat. Does the bullet start as 1 and then be 2 when fired? Oh, because the shell casing. Yeah, probably. But that's where it gets...
I have no idea.
That's where it doesn't, like, really... That's where I don't think it's very interesting, right? Like, What is interesting to me about the Spren is that they are life given to the imagination and creation of humanity.
Yeah.
And so, like, for a stick, it's like, does it become something different when it cuts off a tree? Was it still a stick when it was on the tree? But we don't call things on trees sticks. So how did it know that it was a stick?
Oh, I guess we call it a branch.
It's not a stick until it's on the ground.
Right.
When it's on the tree, it's a branch. Or, it's just a branch, right? And so you get into this, like... It just gets into a thing where it gets too complicated to understand it because it's too granular.
There's no clean way to slice it and dice it.
There's no way through it.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to think about, but for it to like actually exist is like, I don't know how. Like, it's fun to like theorize about and like kind of chat about, but I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry. I don't like the Shadesmar thing, but I do like the idea that sex toys have thoughts, as long as they're consenting.
Don't.
Fabrials Are Science says, who should have died? I hate this question. And I get it. I get why it comes up. I totally get it, because I say that more characters should die. And I get why when people are like, well, who should have died? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know where the story's going.
That's the problem. Is like there are characters that are clearly there to fulfill roles that they haven't accomplished yet. So it's hard to be like, well, they should die. But I do think
Zeth definitely should have died.
Honestly, yeah. Like I think like Zeth should have died. I think that someone of our named characters from Bridge 4 could have died. It would have been tragic, but it was a fucking horrible battle with a horrendous storm. Like it was awful.
Well, and that's why I get frustrated.
They're like, oh, a cousin of Lopin's died. That's too bad. I mean, they were Bridge 4. Like
it's like the tower in book 1, where it's like, oh my god, we lost 8,000 people. We have not met a single one of them.
No, yeah, none of them were named before this moment. Yeah.
I get. Yeah, we lost. We're gonna ride into this crazy battle with the Super Parshendi. They have new superpowers that we've never seen before, and most of our guys are just guys. And like Royan dies, but like I don't give a fuck about Royan. Like
that's the thing, is he had one scene in the first book, and that's kind of all that we had of him. And he was kind of an antagonist because he decided not to work with Dalinar. So it's like, all right.
Yeah. So it's more about the fact that.
I mean, yeah, that was sad. That was rude.
It's a frustration I have with epic fantasy, where they want the scope of the battles to be huge, but they want them to actually have very little in the way of consequences.
Yes.
And I find that less interesting than even like Helm's Deep has that elf.
Haldir?
Haldir.
Yes.
Haldir dies. Yeah. Boromir dies in book.
There's somebody who's like, well, I don't know, like Lord of the Rings, nobody dies, and I'm like, I beg your pardon, nobody dies in the Lord of the guys. But Haldir's death is so tragic.
Well, Haldir's death is tragic.
Boromir,
and both of those are in the. It's complicated, right? Because in the book version, they're both in 2 towers. In the movie version, Boromir dies.
Yeah, they spread it out. Yeah.
But you get Gandalf gets fucking out of there, and it's not even a fake out death because he technically dies and then comes back. It's complicated.
Yeah, he's just a god, demigod.
Like in the books, like the Shire gets sacked.
Yeah.
Like there are genuine consequences for the characters, the way that they interact with the world.
Yeah.
Right? In a way, but
Theoden dies.
Theoden dies. The Steward of Gondor falls.
Well, yeah, fuck.
but he's an important character, right?
100%.
Like it's not he is broken by the mental consequences of the battle that is playing out at his city.
Absolutely.
That is a huge consequence of what is happening in that scene.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's why I think, like, even if no one had died, someone should be close to death or permanently maimed or injured.
They're all fine.
They're all totally chill.
And I know they all have superpowers, but all of the main characters get through this, what is supposed to be this, like, crazy storm and battle with these Parshendi with crazy superpowers. Yeah. And it's like, don't worry about it. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. And that's why it's frustrating, is because it's like, well, this didn't seem that hard.
Yeah. You could have had Renarin get hit by lightning and be scarred. You could have had, like, somebody lose a limb. You could have had someone who's, like, they might die without immediate medical attention. And I think that the Bridge runs did a better job of that, actually, than this book.
I agree with that.
Right? Because we were getting to know the people there, and then, like, people were getting hurt and being saved, and, like, will they recover? Will they die? I think that they did a better job then.
It's the risk of the superpowers that they have, right? Like, the problem once you have a, like, team of people who can magically heal someone from death is like, well, what are the consequences? It's the D&D problem, right? Mm-hmm. It's the, like, well, you have to make 300 gold diamonds rare so that characters can't just murk themselves constantly and get revived and revived and revived and revived.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, there's no stakes to any of this.
Yeah, and so the question is who should have died, I can't say that. Like, but I think that there should have just been grander consequences for the characters that we actually know than what we got.
Or it should have been more stressful. The combat, like, Adolin beats the shit out of Eshonai. It's not close. Right?
Well, yeah, but then he has to be okay to then fight Zeth after, so.
Sure, but, like, the Adolin Eshonai fight didn't really feel that close. We hear that there's stuff happening on the plains, but it's not really close. Parshendi never get close enough to Shallan that, like, there's ever... I think that one of the things that's missing from that big storm fight is that it doesn't ever actually feel like our heroes are in danger. It doesn't feel like it's going that... They keep telling me that it's going poorly, but they keep kicking ass.
I did think that Adolin and Dalinar were in danger when Zeth showed up. For sure.
Sorry, yes. Zeth is a danger in the series.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But I didn't think that the fight was actually that interesting until Zeth showed up. Zeth was more frightening to me than a new storm that we've never experienced before that's full of red lightning and thousands and thousands of Parshendi that shoot lightning. Like, they're literally, like, shooting lightning, and I was like, they got this. It just kind of always felt like they had it. And like, it wasn't like Shallan was, like, trying to figure out this puzzle while Parshendi are banging on the doors. She's totally in the clear that whole time to do whatever she wants in that room with no
the only thing that they do
danger.
Is they kind of put, like, I think it's Royan's troop in danger, and Dalinar has to go in and save them. But even that still feels like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
they could have put Navani in danger. Here's the thing. I don't need necessarily Shallan to be in danger when she's doing, like, whatever is going on. Yeah. And she's got, Renarin with her. Navani could have totally been in danger, and that would have been terrifying. Because Navani is a character that I, like, could die. Like, I think she is at risk in a way. Like... She has such an emotional connection and tie to many of our characters, but she's not a main character. And so I think Navani is definitely a risk factor.
Yeah, I think they built up the idea that the Everstorm was going to hit into, like, this is the fucking apocalypse. And when the Everstorm actually hits, they're already gone.
Well, the Everstorm... The Everstorm is a problem for the cities that are built.
Well, and I think Everstorm will be more interesting in the next book.
Yeah.
But this is, again, like, I think Oathbringer is going to end up being the more interesting fallout of the Everstorm than what the end of Words of Radiance ends up being.
Yeah. That guy, Trey, welcome to the Nerds Radiant. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's that battle's so interesting. And so I get the question, but it's
but I don't know who should die because, like, I don't know where this is going at all. I don't know where this is going fucking at all. I don't know. Yeah. I think we have to go to a new country next book maybe or
or just have less fake outs. Like I don't know. I think there's different ways that you could have done it. It was the, like, just kidding too many times in a row for me.
But even, like, Alethkar starts rioting in this book, and it doesn't seem like our characters who are from there care at all.
Well, Dalinar does very, very at the very end. It's like, oh, the capital, I think, is rioting. We should check that out.
but that's what I mean. Like, the city's rioting, and
he knows the queen sucks. You know what? He knows that the queen sucks.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it eventually. Maybe it matters. And you're like, okay, this doesn't seem that high stakes at the end of the book.
I disagree, but I think that it's like, it's the storm hitting the cities and absolutely, like, decimating them that I'm like, I don't know, they're gonna have to evacuate, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird.
It's gonna be like Florida.
Such a weird, no, Florida's okay.
Didn't they evacuate parts of it?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. They're going to have to evacuate.
But, like, none of my friends evacuated, and everyone is fine, thank God.
Yeah, fair.
I hope if you were in Florida this weekend, I hope that you were great.
Or anywhere this past near, like, anywhere on that side of North America in the last couple of weeks. I hope that you're okay.
Rimaku says, do you consider the parchment being changed to be a meaningful consequence or not, since seeing the actual result has to wait until the next book? But I think that it will be in the next book. I thought it was gonna be a bigger thing in fucking Edge Dancer, and it wasn't. Right? And so thus far, we haven't actually seen that do anything, and so I don't know that actually happens yet, right?
Yeah.
Like, because we still know that the storm has to hit, and also the Parshmen have to have a spren. And so, does the storm have... Like, why...
Well, the storm... I think the lightning inside the storm is the spren. Like, the Everstorm is carrying spren.
In Edge Dancer, why did the Parshmen turn... Because they left the Parshmen outside.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of red lightning things around them.
Yeah, but then nothing happened with that.
Well, that's because Lift went inside.
No. The end of Edge Dancer is like a few days later, and there's no reference to... There's no reference to that having been important at all. And so I don't understand how the storm hit that city. The Parshmen all changed and then nothing happened. Unless I'm getting the timeline of it wrong.
Maybe they got changed and like ran away. Like they have to heed a call somewhere to amass and then attack with numbers as opposed to individually.
I think that's less interesting. I think the like individual horror of 4 Parshmen in a small town attacking is more interesting than 6 months from now they've gathered and there's an army coming. Because you can prepare for an army. You cannot prepare for the guy in the room next door went crazy during the storm and attacked you. Right. And I think that on a like human level, 2 armies fighting is less horrifying to me than one crazy person in a small town.
Well, it's that like it's that not interlude. It's the one of the Dalinar flashbacks where that guy it starts with an H is like fighting the midnight essence or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. It's so much scarier because I can relate to a person in a terrifying situation. Mm-hmm. I can't really relate to what it is like to be on a battlefield with thousands of people and half of them have superpowers, right? Because the Parshendi all can shoot like I don't know what it's cool. It's more cool than it is scary. Yeah. Whereas one Parshendi in a house with you is horrifying, right?
Yeah.
But Memonk brings up zombies. Zombies are scarier when there's 5 of them than when there's a horde. Because once you get into the horde of zombies, it just becomes numbers, and then it becomes... Like, one zombie in a house, to me, is more... Rings of Power, right? There's a great fight in Rings of Power where it is one boy and one orc in a house.
Yeah.
And it is more tense than any other fight in that show.
For sure, yeah.
Because when the big battles are the big battles and they're fun to watch and I get excited about tactics and stuff like that. I'm not horrified. But that one orc and that one boy in a house, that shit gets your blood pumping.
Yeah.
And it's just an interesting... So if the Parshmen all leave to go amass and then come as an army and march through, I will be less interested than if we get the kind of horror of this servant that's lived in your house and has been working for you for 10 years suddenly turned on you. That's more scary and more personal. Yeah, because once that Parchment goes off and joins the army, you lose that was the one that you knew.
Yeah.
Right? I think they just become numbers at that point, as opposed to the person who lived in your house turns it. That's crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like the Red Power Ranger that like ate his roommate, right? Yeah. Don't do bath salts.
Yeah. Teravangian asked for the capacity to save the world and got a condition where he bounces between 100% intelligence and 0% compassion, the opposite and everything in between. Which of these states might enable him to save the world?
None of them.
Well, if cultivation has to give you what you asked for, then I guess technically somewhere in there has to be the solution. But I don't think that it is the diagram.
He didn't ask to be able to save the world. He asked for the capacity to. I think this is a monkey's paw thing. I think that Teravangian will turn out to be more of a villain than a hero because he will believe that he's right. Yeah. And not just that he has the power to be right, which is not the same thing.
Right.
I do. I think that the problem is that he is following a diagram that's changed too much in the, 2 years or 3 years, however long it's been since he wrote it.
I also think, honestly, that, like, intelligence is not creativity.
Yeah.
And that this is a kind of situation that does require intelligence, right? It requires you to understand the world around you, but it also requires you to think outside the box. And I don't know if he was given that. So.
Well, and that's what's so fascinating about it, right? Is that, like, you can predict a little bit of what's going to happen, but unless the diagram has a way to stop the Everstorm, which it pushes the bounds for me a little bit. Like Teravangian being so smart one day that he's able to predict a magical storm that's never happened before is like based on fucking what? Like what is the sequence of events that could possibly let you guess that that's possible?
None of the people who know the diagram have mentioned that, so I don't believe that the storm is part of the diagram.
Yeah, I think that okay, here's the thing. The diagram would work more for me if the Everstorm had happened in a previous desolation. Right? If he's like predicting something that has happened before, it makes more sense to me than predicting something that's never happened before.
Yeah, okay.
It would be like predicting a comet is going to hit. It's like, well, you don't know space. And technically, comets hit every day, right? Like, we're bombarded by little bits of... You know,
sure, yeah.
But like the prediction is outside of the experience. It gets into the like intelligence versus knowledge thing that we talked about previously with it. And so like I don't know. Unless the way to beat Odium has happened before, I don't know how you could guess it based on understanding how politics in different countries work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Catharok also asked, in one of the reactions, Nerdy said that he did not necessarily trust Sanderson to bring some parts of the story to a satisfying conclusion. Stephen Erickson once said that to successfully write an ambitious long-form story, he needs to win the author's trust or he will lose them. What do you think about this? Depends how long the story is.
I don't trust authors ever.
No, Nerdy doesn't trust people.
That's not how I experience art, right? And I understand that other people do, which is why people give so much leeway to stuff in a way that I don't. I completely understand that. But like, I don't trust authors to nail it. Mm-hmm. I experience what they write, and then I decide afterwards if it was worthwhile.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the middle being like, this is going to be great. This is going to land. Ever. There's no author on earth there's no writer I've ever read or watched like their movie or anything who don't have a bad movie, book, or something like that. It's just not, it doesn't exist. I've read, authors I love have terrible books that I'm like, how the fuck did they write this? Like I think they're better than this.
I thought you had said that you were happy that we read Mistborn first because like Way of Kings was like the structure of it was a little like meh.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But that doesn't mean that I like trust that everything Brandon Sanderson writes is going to be good, and so I don't need to worry about it.
I think that if you want to tell a long form story, that like the reader's trust is highly important, but I don't think that trust is built outside of the series that you are currently reading. Like, even if you are someone who doesn't like the structure of Way of Kings, there has to be enough in it.
Yeah.
To pull you to the next book, because it's long. There are so many ways to spend your time, right? That like an author has to be like, don't worry, like I've got stuff coming up, right? Like there has to be enough there to push you into the next book. But I don't think that trust is earned outside of that series. Like, it's like if I had read...
Even within a series, like, look at what happened with us in Wheel of Time. Those books get bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and the first 6 are great. I still think Shadow Rising is one of the best fantasy books I've ever read. But, like, you bring up Crossroads of Twilight, I'm like, don't compare this to that. That book is one of the worst pieces of fiction I've ever read in my life. It's awful. It's so long, nothing happens, and it's terrible.
It's not great.
But Shadow Rising is one of the best fiction novels I've ever held in my hands.
Yep.
And I mean that seriously, right? And so, no, I don't trust that the series is going to be great because one book is really good. When, like, I know that, like, series can fall apart. Long-form series are really hard to nail.
Yep.
Anything longer than The Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings is, like, a concise... It's epic, but it's concise.
I think where the trust actually comes from is less in, I trust this specific author.
Yeah.
But I trust that there is a vision here that I can see the outline of, and I trust that, like, it is going somewhere. Rather than, I trust this author to pull it off. I think that it is more that you have to It's a pilot. You gotta pitch the series, right?
See, and the thing about Brandon Sanderson books, and I think why I don't love them as much as other people typically do, outside of the 2 Mistborn books I think are basically perfect, is that I see the outline.
Mm-hmm.
I see the outline more than I see the content. And when I'm reading the books, I feel the outline.
Yeah.
Like, really hard in it. Like, I can see... I don't know where it's going, but I know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, it is... And what he writes is so good. And, like, I actually think that, like, the plot lines that I do like in these books are riveting and fascinating. And the combat... The way he writes combat is better than anybody else, right? There is not someone whose combat I would rather read more than Brandon Sanderson's. On any level. He is simply the most engaging cinematic combat writer I've ever had the pleasure of reading.
100%. I have said this numerous times that sometimes I find combat extremely hard to follow. Brandon Sanderson does it brilliantly.
And so, but the problem I think for my taste sometimes with Brandon Sanderson books is that I roll my eyes at the setups that I'm like, I know when this, I get it. You're setting up another thing that you're not going to tell me anything about for like 800 pages. And the outline of his books, I feel like I'm reading it a little bit. You know what I mean? Where he's like, oh. And the books always kind of have a like, oh man, just wait until you see how I came up with the way for these tangled webs to all come together in a way that like other people are just going to enjoy more than I do. And so
or feel that more than you do. Because like
sure,
I don't really feel that. But that's totally a subjective thing.
I think Elantris and Warbreaker were the worst for that, right? Because I don't think those worlds necessarily work as well as Stormlight and Mistborn do. Like, I think there's like some weird, especially in Elantris, where like the plot is just kind of nonsensical so that it all happens.
Yeah.
But I think that Stormlight is a better version of what he was trying to do in those.
Yeah.
But I do sometimes still feel like I'm like reading... And I think that the Hoyt stuff kind of emblemizes it too. I think that Brandon Sanderson like comes up with the outline, and then the writing almost feels like he's like really proud of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But sometimes it does have that like sense of like, guys, I came up with a crazy twist. I can't wait for you to get to it. But I got to do all this stuff so that it's a twist.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it always feels like the twist comes out naturally, but rather like I've been like led by the nose to it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting reading experience that's unlike anything I've ever read before, right?
Yeah.
It's very different. I think that part of why it's different is that it is unique.
Yeah.
And so it's you know, I think that when you study literature and you study like writing and the stuff that we've done, comparison is so much a part of how you are trained. And it's hard to compare Brandon Sanderson to other things.
I mean, I want to be very clear. Like, I don't have any formal education in, like, storytelling, writing.
Sure.
Yeah. I just say the words that come to my head.
Judah Kenazars, thank you for that super chat. Would you rather try chowta or Rosharan curry? Oh, definitely chowta. You'd probably want the curry.
Nope.
Yeah, the women's curry is sweet.
Have curry.
But you'd eat women's food, and it's all like, you have a sweet tooth. Chowda's gonna be spicy, babe. It's like Mexican burritos.
Curry spice is spicy.
Yeah, but the women's food isn't. It's like it's
yeah,
just
but,
dessert.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Is it like mild normal person's level of spicy or like my level of no spice?
No, I think it's like fucking like strawberry yogurt. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like I think it's literally sweet.
That's yogurt, not curry. What?
I don't know. I think they just call it all curry. I don't think they're using curry spice.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Kate Catastrophe, thank you for that super chat. I completely
you.
get how you feel, nerdy. I love Stormlight Archive dearly, but I can't wait until you guys get to Mistborn Era 2. They're a bit more fun. I can't wait for some fun.
Yeah.
These books are a little depressing.
Sure, yeah.
They're a little sad.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get to Mistborn Era 2 in 2025. That's coming up real fast. We're stoked. Honestly, we are stoked for that.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Anyway, that was a long way of saying I like these books. I think that my experience of them is just different from other people's. I also think that Words of Radiance was like hyped as like the greatest fantasy book ever. And I think that like that sometimes affects my opinion of it, where I'm like, it's really good, but like, is this the greatest thing ever? And it would probably be better for the show if I just shut the fuck up and was like, guys, it's the greatest thing ever. Oh my god, I fucking jizzed all over it. Oh, Words of Radiance. You know what I mean? Like, that would be better for me on the internet. People love that kind of content. But at the same time, like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, I would rather you guys be here mad at me because I was honest than me just sit here and be like, did you see the way Adolin did the clap, and then Callan did a clap, and they were just clapping each other's cheeks. It's the greatest thing I've ever read in my entire life. Like, I know people make that kind of content, and like, power to them.
Yeah.
You know, those are the people that have 300, 400,000 subs, and we have what we have. But like, I'm more proud of the fact that I can honestly say that everything I've said on my channel, I said with integrity. I was wrong a lot. I'm not saying that I was always right, but I meant it sincerely in the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
I've never lied. I fibbed a little bit here and there.
Sure.
You kind of have to, because like, there's NDA stuff. Like, there's times where like we can't talk about things.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, there's stuff like that where I'm like, I've seen this thing, but I actually can't say that I've seen this thing yet until it's public or whatever. So.
Yeah. That's fair. There's a fine line that we walk, but we always try and be as honest as possible first and foremost, and it's just more interesting for us.
I think
that way.
Yeah, I will say this on the trust thing. I think that trusting an author is just not language I would use, and it's not my experience. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't trust authors. I want to experience authors. I don't go. Maybe that's not true. Like, maybe if like Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote it, but even that, you know what? No, because like the shit that
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't trust art until I experience it. And then I experience it, and then I decide afterwards how I feel about it, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Ziran asks, in my opinion, each Stormlight book gets better as you read the next one. Has reading Words of Radiance changed any of your opinions on Way of Kings?
Ooh, actually, I think I like Way of Kings less now that I've read Words of Radiance.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the character, like, it's particularly like the handling of Shallan. She's such a good character in Words of Radiance that it's like Way of Kings almost feels like a fumble, weirdly, with her character in particular.
I see what you mean.
Like, yeah. There's elements of Way of Kings that I think are improved because the characters grow, but I also think that like Words of Radiance is a significantly better book than Way of Kings because of how it balances. I think the interludes in Way of Kings mean way less than the interludes in Words of Radiance do.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think that in some ways, I like the continuing story, and I like the things that I like about Way of Kings more are the payoffs that I could see coming now if I reread it. Mm-hmm. But I think that some of the stuff that I'm like, this is so random and long, that doesn't get better because the second book does the same kind of story better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Sigzel brings up a really interesting question. Do you think that having to argue in favor of your criticisms to chat can make you focus on the bits you didn't like more than you otherwise would? Yes. 100%.
Oh, yeah, and you guys push me to talk more about... Here's the thing. Chat will be like, oh, you went on forever about this. And I'm like, yeah, because you kept responding to it. But when I say, like, this is good, people are like, thumbs up in chat.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no one is sitting in chat and being like, here is my argument for why Nerdy is wrong about this being good. But when I say negative things, it's why the show becomes about me defending my opinions sometimes.
Yeah.
Because when I'm like, Brandon Sanderson is the single greatest combat fantasy writer, which is what I just said. Not a single person in chat went, no, he's not.
Right, and
I don't have to defend that point. He's the best combat fantasy writer.
Yeah, I think, Sigzel, I think it's so interesting doing this kind of content. It's something that we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Where we're like, let's focus on the positives. And I think sometimes we do a really good job of balancing out what we like and why. Yeah. But sometimes it's like, okay, well, I didn't like this because of this, and here's why, and maybe what we could have done differently, and chat has a pushback, and so we kind of have to circle around again and maybe clarify the point. And so there's just so many extra steps to that side of things that, sometimes it does feel like, oh man, we focused a lot on like negative stuff this time around. But it's not that there is necessarily more negative than positive, which, for a section of Wheel of Time there, it was a bit rough. But I
think 3 of those books are actively bad.
They're definitely not great. But I totally think that affects our like how we communicate and how the podcast comes off to other people. Yeah.
I have two thoughts about this, right? The first is that if this show was not live, it would be shorter and it would be infinitely more positive. Generally. Not about Crossroads of Twilight, but about most books.
Yeah.
If the show was not live and it wasn't a conversation with chat, it would be 45 minutes.
I don't know
and
about
it would be
that.
positive.
No, it would be 90, but yeah, it would be,
Sure.
like, I know us.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is...
But it's more fun with you guys.
We also, Clarissa and I don't spend a lot of time talking about the books before we get on the show. And so a lot of times we
save our opinions for the show to one another as well.
And then we are working through our opinions together sometimes. And so sometimes the thing about liking something is I don't need to work through why I like it. I generally have a pretty good idea why. But sometimes when we're going on a long tangent about something we don't like, it's because we're not 100% sure why, and we're hoping that the other person can help us, mostly me, get to a place where where I can articulate well why something doesn't work for me. And I think that like other shows do a better job of coming in with that thought fully formed and then expressing why they don't like it and why they feel that way in a succinct way where they get through it.
Yeah.
Whereas we sometimes come in and it's like, this isn't really working for me.
You say something and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'll be like, this isn't really working for me. And you're like, why not? And I'm like, well, it's just like a feeling thing. And then we'll talk for 20 minutes.
We work it out.
To get to the center of that feeling. And people are like, wow, you really harped on why you hated it. And it wasn't that I wanted to spend all that time. It wasn't that I went into it being like, I want to spend 20 minutes fucking shitting on this. It's that I want to sit here and talk about why and try and get to the bottom of like, why isn't this working for me?
Yeah.
What is it that is really not working? Because like, I like a lot of the book.
Yeah.
And honestly, with Words of Radiance, I still don't know how I feel, right? Like, I think that even today, like, we're talking about all this stuff from the book, and I'm still working through...
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it all figured out with Words of Radiance yet. There's so many things I love about this book. There's things I don't. There's moments that I think are so great, but that have, like, these little nitpicky things that ruin them, and it's a book that is so vast, and so much happens that trying to condense all of my thoughts even into the 20 hours of content that we've put out about it, I still feel like I haven't said every feeling I've had about it, right?
Yeah.
I haven't articulated all of the thoughts this 40-hour audiobook gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's why I love doing the show, right?
Yeah. Because
we're just sitting here talking about something that even if I hated the book, it's still interesting to talk about it. And I love doing it with you, obviously, but...
Yeah, no, we enjoy doing this together. But, Sigzil, I think that is why a lot of you guys who have stuck around, that's the getting the unpacking of it all is what's interesting to you. Whereas there are a lot of people who like that does not interest them at all, and they don't watch our show, right?
Well, because most people don't want to watch a 3-hour book club.
Yeah, there's also that. But like our show, I think is in a way fairly niche. Not because of the material that we pick, but the way that we explore it. And that's fine. We're not trying to make something for everybody.
Yeah.
I like getting into the nitty-gritty of it, you know? Zirin asks, in my opinion... Oh, no, wait. Sorry. We got to that one. I honestly don't think my Way of Kings opinion has changed that much.
You liked it more than I did, though.
Yes, I did. Shim Slady asks, one of the main draws of Cosmere novels for many is the various independent series that gradually build up connections as they lead to grander meta-narrative. Once you're both all caught up with the Cosmere books and looking for another series to read for book club, would you be interested in another similarly structured meta-series, perhaps one with a humorous twist set on a flat, you could say, disc-shaped world?
I mean, I'm down to read Discworld. I mean, people love it.
Jesus Christ. We've promised The Expanse first. So that's where things get tough, is I'm like, look, Discworld sounds like an awesome series.
I've also said I'm going to read the rest of Cradle, and I've
still
not started book 2.
That's what I mean. We don't have enough time to get to everything.
2025 will have more time for books. I want to do more book content next year once Charlie's over.
Yeah, for sure. But we have committed to the Brandon Sanderson Cosmere world, which is a big commitment. And then we've also said we're going to do The Expanse and Cradle. So there's a lot of things on the back burner. I will add it to the list.
I'm not going to lie. For me, right now, I don't care about the meta-narrative in Cosmere at all. Like, I really don't give a shit about it.
they're not connected enough for me. There is one character who kind of bops around and is very fourth wall breaking.
But also, like, the plot of the individual planets is all life and death enough that, like, I don't need bigger stakes. Like, part of the reason why events like Thanos in the MCU are fun is because once your superheroes have defeated a few of those world-ending threats, you need a bigger threat, right?
Right. It needs to be universe-ending.
The Cosmere doesn't need a bigger threat right now because Stormlight Archive's threat is pretty great.
It's pretty large.
Like, we need to stop an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Is a pretty great threat.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel a draw towards the bigger problems of the Cosmere right now.
Yeah.
Just at all. I don't really care for Hoyd all that much. And so I don't think Hoyd makes the books better in any way. If you cut him out, I don't think anything would change. You would miss a couple of banger lines, and that's kind of it to me. So I don't know. For
Never again.
For me, it's just kind of like the meta of the Cosmere. Part of the problem is there is zero setup for what could possibly be the problem in the Cosmere right now.
Oh yeah, I fucking have no idea.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm
evil god who's stealing other people's shards, and I'm like, that sucks.
Maybe, but there's also an evil god on every planet. So, like, how is that god different than Odium? I don't know.
Yeah.
When we get to it, I might feel differently because I'll understand, like, what it is. But right now, it just feels like it's teasing me in the background, and I don't...
He doesn't like to be teased.
I mean... Here's the thing. I don't even know if the book where that's relevant has been written yet.
No,
You know what I mean? Like, that book might come out in 2029.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I guess we'll get to it. I don't know.
Yeah. Shim's Lady also asked, do you still consider the wider Cosmere connections in these books to be throwaway Easter eggs? And if so, do you find them annoying, distracting? Some of the interludes I find annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I would say mostly I don't, but there are a couple that I'm like, what is the point of this? They also ask, would you welcome a shift for connections to take... Would you welcome a shift for connections to take greater prominence and be more integrated into the plot of Stormlight Archive books?
Would it be immersive and cool than the Easter egg approach? Look, if
you welcome
they're basically saying, would you like for the Stormlight Archive to start to feel more connected to the other Cosmere stuff, and Hoyd be more important rather than this, like, Easter eggs in the background vibe? If it has to do with the Everstorm, then yes. If it does have to do with the Everstorm, I don't give a shit. Let's deal with the Everstorm first. I'm interested in Roshar.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in all the rest. I'm not even that interested in anything outside of Alethkar at the moment. I don't really give a shit about Shin. Don't care about the Reshi Islands. It's not that relevant to me.
Yeah.
I don't care about how trade works in Shin at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I care about characters. And right now, I want to know what's going on with our characters and what they're doing. And so, if open up to the Cosmere, if they need to go get an Allomancer to help them stop the Everstorm, then yes, I'm into that. Because it becomes about the Everstorm, about our characters' desires. But if it's just, like, simultaneous plots, I don't need that. That's too much.
Yeah, 100%. Josh Timko asks, who was your favorite character of the book and why is it Pattern? Because it's Pattern.
Pattern? I don't know. Pattern's pretty great.
Pattern and Shallan are my favorite character.
It's so tough, man.
Nah,
There's
they're
so
my
many
favorite.
good characters.
Yeah.
Like, main characters, I think Shallan was my favorite in Words of Radiance. But, like, Moash's story's so good.
Yeah, I also think that, like, you know, part of my love for Pattern is the way that the audiobook is narrated.
Yeah, Kate Redding does a lot to make Pattern great.
Crushes it. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know that I would get the Pattern. I don't know that I would have any love for Pattern just reading it.
Oh, no, I do.
Just
reading. Because I also just read.
Lies is not... Lies.
But now I can't unhear it.
Sure, no, that... But, like, I'm saying, like, without Kate Redding's performance, I don't know that I would feel the way I do about Pattern.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it is an interesting thought.
Yeah. No, I do love Pattern, though.
Yeah. I really, like, I want more Renarin. I liked what we got of Renarin in this book.
Yeah. Shallan's so fucking judgy. It's hilarious. Joseph asks, in the context of world building, what do you think the different Spren and their What do you think of the different Spren and their cultures / worldviews?
Damn, that's a huge question. I think that it is...
Like, you mean like the Spren's culture?
Yeah, well, they have different cultures. Like the Lie Spren have a different culture from the Honor Spren. The Wind Spren are all little pranksters.
Yeah.
Fuck. I think the Spren are an interesting concept that would be a fucking nightmare to live with. I don't think the series gets into enough how awful the Spren would be to have around.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely would keep you honest.
I mean, some of them wouldn't, right?
No, I mean, like, if you're scared and you are trying to pretend to not be scared,
yeah,
you just have fierce Spren around you.
Like, dating is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, eating is a nightmare. Everything's a nightmare, right? Like, any world where there's a fucking outside force that comes and shows other people your inner emotions, god damn, what a fucking disaster that would be.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's complicated. I don't know about the worldviews because there's something to be said about, are the Spren's worldviews from the Spren or are they from humans? I'm not 100%
really
clear on that yet, so I don't really know how to answer that question.
I think from a world building perspective, it certainly is unique, right? Like it makes Rashar feel very different from the other Cosmere books.
Oh, it's unique, and I think it is, like, conceptually fascinating, but I agree, living with that.
I do think that I'm a little bit over the amnesia of the Spren at this point. Like, I'm ready for that to not be as much plot as it is.
Which I think because now Yasna has been to Shadesmar back, that it will be less of a thing.
I hope so, man. I don't love amnesia in storylines, but also, like, the weight of the amnesia of, like, the Spren not knowing how to move stuff forward being just why things aren't happening. I'm like, we did 2 books of it. Had some good plot because of that.
Yeah.
We can move on to, we cannot do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need the Spren to be like, I don't know. Don't remember. Yeah. It's like, okay, book 3, we don't need to keep doing amnesia all the time. And I think that, like, when it was just Syl, it was more like, ooh, this is like a mystery for Kaladin. But now it's Syl and Wendell and Pattern. And
Wendell
I'm like,
remembers a lot of stuff, but yeah.
Sure, but there's still stuff that he's like, oh, I don't know. His transition wasn't as hard, but like, for the TTRPG, it's great because the GMs will be like, your Spren doesn't know. Like, it's very helpful for that. But I don't need. We're gonna have so many Radiance, right? There's just gonna be a lot of people with a lot of Spren, and I don't need all that many conversations where one character is like, hey, how do I do this? And the other character's like, I don't know, and that's it. Like, it just kind of kills the momentum. Yeah. And so if we keep doing this with 70 fucking Spren who are all like, I don't remember anything. It's like, I can't get into this anymore. My limit for amnesia is kind of there. Yeah, personally 100%. Right
now. Judah, thank you for that super chat. What do you think of Uncle Sabariel and Aunt Polona?
Love them. Absolutely wonderful.
Fabulous. Them sitting on the battlefield, just like reading a book in the middle of a storm. Iconic. Truly the most iconic characters in this series. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we don't need Hoyd. We just need Sabariel and Polona. 100%.
Yeah. No, I think that they're better comedic relief than Hoyd because they are of the world. Mm-hmm. And because they have relationships with people that aren't just based on them being omniscient about other people. Yeah. Like, Hoyt cannot be universe hopping and also be here enough to know things about everybody. Mm-hmm. It gets into the same information problem that that gives me pause with Taravangian. It's not the end result that I have a problem with. It's how did you spend the time to know all of the things you needed to know to be able to have that perspective? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, yeah, no, I love them. I think they're great characters. I love their relationship with Shallan. I think that stuff's really great. Yeah. But, yeah.
Pilks asks, given we know of Honor Spren, Cryptics, and the Stormfather...
Who's also an Honor Spren.
Who is, and Cultivation Spren. What other sentient Spren, if any, do you think there are? Oh, God. I mean, I know we've made a lot of jokes about different kinds of Spren.
I don't think that your classifications of the Spren work there.
Well...
Because Cryptics...
Cryptics are lies.
And the Stormfather both come from honor, are also... of honor.
I thought
there's got to be a bunch of things under Cultivation Spren, because Cultivation is one of the two shards.
I thought Cryptics were Cultivation Spren, because the Cryptics Maybe. And the Honor Spren hate one another. But I also thought that the Cryptics were not math.
Fuck off.
No. They said Cryptics and then they said maths in parentheses, and I don't actually think that.
I don't know, man. I think, any big idea, right? I think can have, a higher level of Spren. I think love Spren would be a high enough ideal that there could probably be sentience around that. I don't know fucking how. That might end up being Adelin's if he becomes a Radiant. And, his love for Shallan. That'd be interesting.
It's just one of those
family
things.
Spren.
It's sentient Spren though. There's a lot of non-sentient Spren. It's the
right, but wind isn't a big idea. Wind just exists. I'm talking about the big ideas seem to have the lies are a big idea.
Yeah.
The concept of lying is a big idea. The concept creation. I could see creation Spren being huge, right? I could see there being a creation Spren that is is sentient because there's something about creation. Justice Spren's a good one, Omniocris.
I was going to say morality Spren.
Morality's too broad, I think. Morality encompasses too many different things.
I feel like morality
honor
is
just a part of morality.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends on what you consider to be the biggest attributes to humanity. Maybe there's a community Spren. What?
I love that. No, I just
I think that's...
I just pictured the fucking weird human mascot from Community, running around giving someone superpowers.
Yeah,
E pluribus anus. God, he's great. Great at paintball.
I have a feeling that the big fishy Spren is sentient.
Oh God, it begins.
Oh, are you guys getting on the audiobook commissions? Is that what that is? All right. It's gonna be fun.
All right. Code 76 says, which magic system in the Cosmere so far seems the most intriguing to use in an RPG setting? Ooh.
To use in an RPG setting. Probably
Stormlight. Because you have different classes. The problem with the problem with Allomancy and Feruchemy is that they kind of the powers both you can't do Hemalurgy, right? Because then you just are evil. And it's the problem with the RPG is going to be that some of this is really narratively hard to get around in an RPG.
No, I think you're right. The Stormlight having different classes, because I think it would be really fun to do. Or I think that the Aeons from Elantris, those two allow for the most variety between players. Whereas Mistborn, you're all kind of they're different things, but they are similar. And same with Warbreaker with the breaths. It's all I just like the idea of having different classes.
I don't find the Aeons interesting from a TTRPG perspective. You have to stay close to one country. You have to
takes a minute to write them down.
You have to have magic autism so that you can know the exact distance across an entire ocean by steps. You know what I mean?
No, you don't have to, but yeah.
I don't know. I don't find the Aeons to be a particularly interesting RPG.
No, I think that the Stormlight Archives is the right choice for the TTRPG that they're making.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know why he wants to do Elantris too. I don't really know. I don't know what is in that world that is interesting enough to.
Yeah.
Omniocris says Mistings are your classes, but that's not fun.
Yeah, it's just
fun to be a Mistborn, but it's not fun to be a fucking pewter. If you can just pewter drag, and someone can just coin shot, it's okay, well.
Yeah,
you can run really far. I'll catch up with you in 6 days.
Well, and also it's I can subtly influence people's emotions, but I can't do anything else.
I'm never Oh, no. If we do a Mistborn campaign, the rules around the mind control are very, very strict.
Yeah.
Like, because it's... I'm not playing... We're not fucking role-playing Breeze and...
Alrian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not role-playing that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not something I want to try and play at a table, is like, like, I'm just gonna, like, influence this woman into loving me. It's the same reason why not a lot of my D&D tables, because it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And, like, if the only thing that your character can do is manipulate people emotionally, I'm not super interested in playing that game.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's an RPG that is just rolling to see if you get other people to do stuff for you is not that interesting to me.
Yeah.
So like with the Stormlight, at least everyone has a base set of power, strength, and if you're doing Mistborn and only one of you's Mistborn, that character does everything, right?
Yeah.
So like, why is everybody else? Or if everyone's a Mistborn, everyone just has all the powers, so there's nothing that separates you.
Yeah.
So for me, like the classes of the Stormlight Archive, giving everyone a base level of ability of healing, and also they all have unique things that they do, so that they can work together and like you can have a party of people is just more interesting to me.
Yeah, I think that there is a way to do Mistborn where everyone is a Mistborn, but like you still stat yourself similar to D&D. So like you're better at coin shotting, or you're like better at pewter burning. Like I think there is maybe a way to do that. Like you still have a strength modifier, but I don't know. I think that Stormlight is the correct answer.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not interesting. I'm just saying that the most interesting is Stormlight. Mm-hmm. I think I want to do a Mistborn thing, right? Like, I really do. Like, I think it's going to be fun to run a Mistborn campaign. But in terms of, like, what I think is the best version of this, I think the reason why the book was called the Stormlight RPG and not the Mistborn RPG, and then Stormlight was added later, they went with the Stormlight RPG... And then they added Mistborn on after, because I think they know.
Yeah, they knew.
Stormlight is the best world for this to be a TTRPG game.
Yeah, for sure.
It has mechanics that like being able to power up during the high storm. There's so many little ways in which it is already built closer to an RPG experience than I think Mistborn, which is so narratively driven and so dependent on individual people doing kind of everything.
Yeah.
That is a little bit harder in a teacher. It's kind of like if you're doing a DC Comics fucking TTRPG, you don't want anyone to play Superman.
Yeah.
Because he is the team.
Yeah.
Right? You want to play 5 characters that have 5 different abilities that they have to work together to do something, because that the role playing is more interesting when you don't all have the same abilities.
Yeah.
It just is, right? Like you want someone to be a healer, you want someone to be a tank, you want someone to be a DPS, so that you have to collaborate. But if everyone can do everything, then it's like, well, I'll go off on my own and do this while you do this, while you do this, while you do this. And then we're just fucking like jerking each other off, watching each other roleplay independent scenarios.
Yeah. Just fast, given that a lot of fantasy is generic, innate magic systems, what do you think about how surge binding works as something that needs to be earned? Well, okay, so I am a little honestly confused at that. Can anyone be a surge binder? Or do you have to have the innate magic thing, but then also say
No, you have to be picked by a spren.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Because Cultivation was talking about how, like, the Council of Cultivation spren were, like... They were, like, choosing who they were going to be attached to. So I think it's a bit of both. But just before we move on from that last thought, Junior Cares, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
What if you're Mistborn and Radiant? No, that's what the
that
PvEG
would be
is.
Bonkers. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something reserved for the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because you're too strong. That's boring. Guys, stop wanting to play super powerful characters.
You
play
want
people
to have
with a dump stat.
restrictions.
You need a dump stat.
Dump stats are great.
Yeah. But going back to this question, I think that's a great question.
I mean, look,
I don't know. I don't really know why Spren choose people yet. So
I love the idea of like it kind of plays into the idea of like heaven. You be a good person and maybe a Spren will choose you for magic powers. Now, what I don't understand is how evil darkness justice guy has a Spren. But I guess maybe some Spren are also fucked up.
Yeah.
It's in a way, I think that it is kind of a beautiful concept that can elevate humanity in a really interesting way, right?
Sorry,
in
I
the
just seen
same
a
way,
message, Stella. Really
yeah,
quick.
yeah, no worries. I think that, yeah, I love the concept of it. I think that it is beautiful, and that in a way, it is the positivity of religion that Brandon Sanderson is bringing into the books, because he is very hypercritical. He's very he's we've seen him be extremely critical of religion, and I think that this is that, like, driving people to be better. Now, it is unfortunate that some people you literally have to motivate to be good people with a reward, but sometimes that's just how it works. And so, yeah, the idea that, like, oh, if I'm a good person,
yeah,
then I can maybe, like, have a sprint and get magic powers. Like, that's pretty cool. Lloyd asks, do you think you would be able to swear and uphold the third Windrunner oath without killing your Spren? Oh, the one where I will protect people, even those that I hate? Yeah. I genuinely, like, don't think that I could let somebody that I hated die. Now, granted, I don't really hate a lot of people.
Oh, I could.
Yeah, no, I know you wouldn't get along with Syl at all.
I would not have honor Spren.
No. But
give me that lies, Spren, guys. We're fucking...
I think that, like, it's very similar to the Doctor's, like, Hippocratic Oath, right?
Oh, how?
The, like, I'm gonna give anyone that I can medical attention, like, regardless of how I feel about them.
Oh, is that part of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be a doctor to whoever needs a doctor.
First do no harm?
Maybe that's part of it, yeah. I the part that I was focusing on, you know how it's Grey's Anatomy, right? Where they save the guy with the Nazi tattoo? That's Grey's Anatomy, right?
Yeah.
Spoilers for Grey's Anatomy.
Wait, is that Grey's... No, that's the Night Shift, isn't it?
What's the Night Shift? I've never seen that, so it can't be that.
Where they shave his beard off and they find that he has, like, tattoos hidden under his beard.
No, I think it was, like, on his arm.
It's his, like, wedding night, and...
Nope, now, different
No,
thing.
I think Grey's Anatomy also did it because Bailey saves his life.
Yeah.
And he's mad because a black woman saved him. Night Shift is a similar episode, but instead he is embarrassed about his tattoos, and so he's been hiding them under a beard. And so his friends come in and they shave his beard off, and his friends don't know that he was a white supremacist. And so they find these, like, Nazi tattoos hidden under his beard.
Yeah.
And it's a wild episode of television.
I think that I really could. I think that I would save people regardless of how I feel about them, because I think that the reason that humanity has the potential to be so special is the capacity for change.
Yeah.
And you have to give people that option. I don't really believe in the death penalty. I think that it is complicated in so many ways in terms of resources and the prison system that we have, like, exploiting people. But I don't think that I don't think that you should go around, like, killing people or letting people die because you think that they're shitty. I think that feels so animalistic in a way that hopefully humans can be better than that. I don't know if we can, but I'd like to believe that we can.
Yeah, I don't believe in the death penalty, but only because I don't trust the legal system. I mean,
That's
look at
part of it, yeah.
I was in Missouri that just killed a man a couple weeks ago, and we're like,
oops, he didn't
pretty
do it.
sure he didn't do it, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, seriously? What the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And it's always, unless you were there for something awful that happened, like, being like, I hate this person because he said, she said. Most of the time, things are way more complicated than anybody wants to give credit for.
Yeah. Ernest Hill, thank you for that super chat. I'd love a buddy cop movie, Darkness and Judge Dredd. Hear me out. We do that, but Carl Urban plays both of them. Oh no, wait, Darkness has dark skin, right?
Darkness? Actually, I don't know what
He's
Darkness
like black with
like
a white kind of scar.
No,
Idris
I thought
Elba
that was the other
as
one.
Darkness.
Oh my god.
Idris Elba as Darkness. No, because Niall and Darkness are the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Idris Elba as Darkness. Carl Urban as Judge Dredd. in the style of the Dredd movie.
Is he the one with the crescent scar? Yeah. Oh my god, okay. So many people in this.
Idris Elba, Carl Urban team-up movie, Darkness and Judge Dredd. They're trying to get justice.
Love it. I'm here for it.
That's the movie I want. Thank you for that super chat. That was great. All right, what's the next question?
Rob Ross asks, we had a potential Cosmere book crossover at the end with a talking sword. Do you think there'll be more crossovers in future books?
Yeah, I think there will. Like, I think we're headed towards that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, like, I just think that Brandon Sanderson has written these worlds to be so intertwined that, yes, 100%. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's definitely going to be there. Takmal Althor asks, a friend I know works in a cheese plant, and we regularly handle blocks of cheese upwards of 600 pounds. All he can think of is how hard it is to cut cheese with a knife, no matter how sharp it is, because the cheese can form suction to the sides of the blades and make it way harder to cut. Would that be a problem for a shard blade? Radiant blades could probably transform to break the suction, but a dead blade is stuck in its form. Wow, that was a ride. I was like, where is this going?
Are dead blades stuck in their forms?
Well, yeah, they can't change to like a spear or like a fork, right?
All right.
The sword is the sword.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, they can cut anything. If they can cut through fucking stone, they don't work like knives. Your friend is really worried about the wrong things here.
I guess if it can cut through, stone, it can cut through cheese.
If it can cut through stone, it can cut through cheese.
But I also
But stone doesn't create suction.
Yeah. Okay. So then
I don't think suction's a problem. I think they're magic.
It would be a problem. Yeah. Yeah.
The cheese last clap.
Oh my god.
Guys, we need to start last clap cheese. And people are like, what is the name? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I've seen a couple of subscribers, and so I wanted, how close are we to... Still 69.9. Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
We're not that close.
That's fine. I got excited. I was like, if we hit 70K while we're live, it's pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. Oh, you covered the questions.
17.
17. Okay.
We're 17 away. We'll hit it today, though.
We'll probably hit it today.
Because Agatha's going to drop at 2, and then...
True. Agatha drops in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Great question. Highlander asks, since the Way of Kings and Words of Radiance are in-world books, what is the theoretical in-world book Oathbringer about? I'm assuming it's something that they find in Urithiru.
It's about the sword.
Well, yeah, we know that Dalinar named his sword Oathbringer.
Yeah, and Adolin killed Sadeas and then threw the sword out the window. The book's gonna be about Oathbringer, guys. It's about the book that got thrown out the window after he killed the guy.
It's not a book, it's a sword.
Yeah, it's gonna be about Oathbringer. There's no book. He killed the guy, took his shard blade, and threw it out the window. And now we gotta figure out who killed Sadeas.
I honestly thought that Oathbringer might be a book for the bondsmith to be like, here's how to bring the oaths to fruition.
That feels so like cheesy though. No, I just mean that if Dalinar named his sword after the thing that would eventually be about his radiant powers, it's just a little on the nose to me.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Ernest L, thank you for that super chat. Is a shard blade cutting the cheese just a shart?
Jesus Christ.
I don't get that at all. What do you mean?
When you shart, it's like a shit and a fart at the same time. So cutting the cheese is a euphemism for farting.
Yeah, but where does the shitting come involved?
Because it's a shard blade cutting the cheese. So it's condensed to shart. You were doing some heavy lifting there, Ernest Hill, and I appreciate it.
I fucking hate this show. I never want to do this show again. I hate that joke so much.
I thought it was funny.
Oh my god. What are we doing?
I mean, we've already talked about shart plate, you know. Is it that far?
Did we talk about shart plate? We probably did.
Yeah.
I don't remember everything.
Well, because Adolin talks about shitting in his shard plate.
Ernest Hill, thank you for that super chat. It's the last super chat because that's the end of the Nerdy Wordy book club.
No more book clubs.
We'll be back with a different podcast next week.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll be.
Johnny Coleman asks, which living shard blade would make the best sex toy? Syl because she's playful, Pattern because he buzzes, or Windle because he's patient and gentle?
I don't want a patient and gentle sex toy.
It depends if you like hentai. Then Windle is the one for you, because there's so many vines, right?
It's Pattern. I just want a vibrator. I don't need... You
want a vibrator?
Vibrators are great.
Huh.
I don't want my sex toy to be a prankster that's going to do weird shit to my penis.
Syl is a prankster.
That's true. Windle, I don't need my sex toy to be, like, whining about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's Pattern. I just need someone to go...
Pattern? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Pattern can also replicate whatever sex noises you want completely accurately.
Oh, my God. Fucking yeah.
Yeah, so if you're like, I have a porn star who just like sounds really hot when they're getting fucked, you could have Pattern listen to it and just like play that for you.
AI, babe.
Fuck off.
Pattern is AI.
Pattern is AI. I know, I hate it. No.
Who in Bridge 4 do you most want to survive the book? All the books.
Who in Bridge 4? Rock.
Yeah, probably Rock.
They're always gonna need food.
I think Kaladin needs to die at some point.
Oh. Spicy, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all the Radiants will die, so like Lopin, Cal...
So sorry, Blue.
Sometimes I wonder why I stay awake for these. Sometimes I wonder why we do this show, Blue. Like...
Yeah.
I don't know. All of them? I don't want people to die. I just want people to die in battles if we're going to call them big, epic battles that have consequences. I read plenty. Yeah. Look, here's the thing. I read plenty. You know what? This is my thing on the dying thing. I love a lot of books where nobody dies, right? I do. There's plenty of books I love that I think are wonderful because the stakes are appropriate. My problem is when you tell me that we're headed to the apocalypse and that we're going to have this world-ending storm hit and then, like, everybody's fine. That's like, when it's a problem.
It's like if you watch The Walking Dead and nobody died.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? Or if they just they keep introducing someone. It bugs me about Star Trek. Where I'm like, who is this fucking person who dies? And then like they don't.
Yeah.
The people on this ship are like 1,200 people who live together on the Enterprise. They would all fucking know each other, and someone dies every other week, and they're not constantly depressed and having funerals. It is unrealistic bullshit. I still love Star Trek, don't get me wrong, but like. The way red shirts work in a closed system of a ship like that is insane.
Hilarious.
They go to funerals all the fucking time in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody.
Well, okay, it depends if you're talking about like the OG or if you're talking about like Next Gen. I feel like not a ton of people die in Next Gen. Not a ton of people die, yeah. Like, but it wasn't. That's why it was a joke in the original, right? It's because they just used the red shirts as fodder to die.
Sure, but if you really think about it, these 1,200 people are the... It would be like if 2 people on the cruise ship we were working on died every other week. It would be an oppressive environment to live in. We would be so depressed because we'd be like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
We lost 1 crew member in the 6 weeks that we're on the ship, and it devastated everybody. Everyone was walking around like, one of us died last night. We didn't even know the person. And I was like fucking horrified by it.
Yeah.
And, making morbid jokes about ice cream parties. But like, that will only make sense if you've worked on a cruise ship. Yeah. But there is something wild about, like, there's something wild about introducing the stakes of death and being like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. The world is going to end. And then everyone being fine at the end of the book because they keep being brought back to life and you're like, well, was it that bad? I guess it wasn't because you're all alive.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. You guys were all alive. More people died in the tower against regular Parshendi than died at the final battle where the Everstorm hit.
Yeah.
Right?
Highlander asks, I know Nerdy gave us theories for Zahale and Tef's past. Do you still have the same theories? And what are my thoughts on Zahale and Tef's past?
I mean, my theories about Tef's past can't be true because we know what his past is now, right?
He was in a cult?
Yeah.
I mean, you had a prediction that he had a spren.
Yeah, that's not true.
No, you don't think so? Okay.
No.
I think Zahale definitely had a spren. We've talked about that a few times. Like a spren that died.
Yeah, probably.
But other than that, yeah, no, I think Teft is just part of a cult.
Or Zahale is fucking like an Alamancer, or is, I don't know.
Hilarious. Oh my god. Maybe.
Well, but like they don't know like where he's from, right? So I don't know. Zahale is Lestabornis years later.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean.
Oh no, Zahale is I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm trying to think like who from the rest of the Cosmere is really good with swords that could have trained and then come here. There's no like sword fighters in Mistborn.
No. It's
no
Tindwyl.
It's Tindwyl.
I don't know.
That's so funny.
She died and she went to a different planet.
Oh, no, it's Vasher. That's how Nightblood got here. Is Zahale got here, retired, and like threw the sword away. He's like, God. I don't need you anymore. And then fucking Niall just found it one day.
That would actually be hilarious if Zahale was Vasher. Absolutely.
He just shows up, retired. Vasher goes there like it's Florida. And he's a New York Jew who retires to Florida at the end of his life and just trains a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
The problem is, I don't know that Vasher's that good with the sword, right? Because Nightblood does most of the work.
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's fair. No. They say that he is like the most fucking incredible swordsman except for the bad guy.
That's true.
The bad guy was like, I was always better than you, and I proved it. Yeah.
That would be so funny. Like the fucking Stormlight's keeping him. He's like, fuck, God, I don't need breaths here. I just need the High Storms to come by.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then Nightblood would become unstoppable.
Wait, no, I think I'm right.
If you throw Nightblood in a
that's why his fucking hammock is on top of... No, wait. His hammock is up on the fucking roof because he has to be outside for the High Storms in order to not die.
To not die.
New prediction! Vasher is Zahale. That's why when they're during the weeping, he doesn't... No, he's up there during the weeping. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Fuck.
I mean, it's still a fun idea.
Lock it in. Lock in the prediction. It's probably wrong, because that doesn't make any fucking sense. But
you know what? Yeah, Zahale actually didn't have a spren. He had Vivenna.
No, he had Nightblood.
Vivenna died.
Oh, and Vivenna's dead. If Vivenna died, that would be a reason for him to get rid of Nightblood. Right?
Yeah.
Because the problem with Zyle being him is, why does Niall have Nightblood, and why isn't Zyle very concerned about that?
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that Vasher, if he's Vasher, would be like comfortable with Nightblood being out in the world doing shit.
Yeah.
Damn. It's a funny idea, though.
Yeah. Sean asks, if you had a spren, what would you want your shard blades to look like? Okay.
Oh, that's fun.
We've talked about this on my streams, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It is my dream for someone to make me a sword that they think would suit me. Because I like all swords equally. And so I want someone to be like, I feel like I have an idea of your vibe and your personality. Here's a sword that reminds me of you. So I want a surprise shardblade, okay? I want my spren to be like, I got this.
I feel like a scimitar would be good for you.
Sure, yeah, love that.
Something like swashbuckly, piratey.
A little cute little cutlass.
Yeah. I would want a trident because I like tridents. And I'm obsessed with Aquaman. So.
Well, there you go.
I don't know.
Trident shardblade.
Yeah, I've trained in a bunch of weapons. I think that spears and bow staffs are really fun, and I like tridents. I like the length of them. I like reach. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would probably want a shardent.
James Ross, that's called a dagger.
Dagger. Let's go with Josh Timko's question. From the drained canal of Orteau and Mistborn to the chasms and the shattered plains to the slot canyons of Yada, why do you think Brandon Sanderson is so interested in crevices? Because
a vagina thing.
Maybe. I was going to say it's because he grew up near the Grand Canyon.
Oh, interesting. All right. That makes more sense.
I'm willing to bet that Brandon Sanderson as a kid from Salt Lake has been to the Grand Canyon many times as a child, and it's why it's such a big part of his writing.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that's totally fair.
Having flown, I've only been in a helicopter once in my life, and it was when my family and I went on a helicopter tour of the Grand Canyon, and it was so large that it like changed my life.
That's fair.
It's such an incredible thing to see, and yeah, I mean the Grand Canyon, it's majestic.
I drove past it once. It
feels like something completely unlike Earth, and so I have a feeling. You grew up in Nebraska? Oh.
Oh, never mind.
Scott, anything about Super Chat? Someone might have asked these questions already.
You.
What IRL culture is the Lopen? Who do you ship Cal with, and why is it Syl? Fire Moss, any thoughts? Let's finish the Sanderson thought really quickly, and then we'll move on to that. Nebraska is still pretty close to the Grand Canyon, though. So I wouldn't be... I'm pretty sure it's because Mormon and Grand Canyon. Because he lives in Utah now, right?
I thought so, but maybe not.
Nebraska also isn't that far from the Grand Canyon for, like, a road trip. My family, I lived in Alberta, and we drove to the Grand Canyon. Like, that's... When you live in the Midwest, you drive to vacation places like that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I just... for a Midwestern boy, I feel like it's probably Grand Canyon. Inspired him, because go see it. Go see it. It will inspire you to look at the world differently because it is bigger than you possibly imagine.
Yeah. What do you think it is not big enough.
All right, Scafendi's questions. What IRL culture is the Lopen? I mean, he's Mexican, right?
Italian? I don't know. What?
I mean, he eats burritos.
I thought it could be a calzone.
Oh, okay, a calzone.
I don't know.
The accent feels... I think that it's Michael Kramer. Yeah, the Michael Kramer's chosen accent feels a little bit like it's leaning towards...
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we'll go with Mexican, I guess. I don't
know. People are like, Nebraska is very far, but Blue brings up it's an 8-hour drive. When you live in the Midwest, 8 hours is not a long drive. That's actually pretty... 8 hours is pretty close.
Okay.
Driving 8 hours that's not that far a drive.
Sure.
When it takes you 10 hours to drive across the state that you're from.
Wait, Kramer's audiobook accent is his attempt at Australian?
No way. Wait, is that true? That's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah, I don't...
There's no fucking... That has to be a joke, right? Talk more authority. You're joking.
I don't know. I don't know.
Can you... Has he ever met an Australian before?
Maybe you just wanted it to be like a nebulous Australian accent.
Wow. Oi, Goncho.
So, what do you ship Cal with, and why is it Syl?
I don't ship Cal with anyone right now.
No.
Especially not Shalon.
No, I honestly, yeah. Or Kaladin and Adolin, but I kind of as a half joke.
Yeah, I don't know that either of them could actually handle being together, though. I feel like that would be a disaster gay relationship that would make me, physically uncomfortable.
What is Fire Moss?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't remember Fire Moss at all, so that's my...
Sorry about that, Scafandi. I don't remember
his
what Fire Moss...
Cockney accent? That's not Cockney.
What?
Michael Kramer is an incredibly gifted audiobook narrator. The Lopen is the Lopen, you guys. It's just, he's the Lopen. I don't know what to...
Yeah. Arazu asks, you said that a lot of the story rehashes all the same themes and elements from Mistborn Era 1. Since you're only on book 2 of a possible 10 Stormlight books, how do you think the themes will be developed going forward since we've already run out of themes covered by Era 1?
I don't think we've run out of Era 1. There's a lot of Hero of Ages that we haven't gotten to yet.
What do you mean?
Well, we haven't fought the evil god by using our magic powers to be the good god's long lost whatever. That hasn't happened yet, so we'll get to it. But I don't think it rehashes the themes more. It more rehashes. I actually think the themes are what's different. I think it's the structure that is rehashed and used differently. Right? I think thematically they're very different, but I think that which is why I don't think he's plagiarizing himself. I think that he's just playing in a very similar toy box, but pulling a different theme out of... Right? Because so much of Mistborn is about found family and falling in love and insecurities of youth and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
that isn't present here, right? Like Shallan isn't even that insecure in book 2. In book 1 she is, but so I think thematically it's very different. It's more the plot stuff is a little bit similar, but used differently.
Right.
And then thematically we're playing with different characters experiencing a adjacent idea.
Yeah.
But like we're still gonna have to do we're gonna have to go fight Odium somehow by fighting his champion, which is what we did, and you know what I mean. We did that.
Yeah.
We did that in Mistborn. Marsh became his champion, and we fought him. Like that. That is what we're gonna have armies that are like controlled by the evil god, fighting our good guys who are gonna discover some secret power that's gonna help them fight at the last minute. That's what you know what I mean. That's what we did. And we're going to do it again because that has to be how this ends. Because otherwise, why are we building Radiance together if it's not to fight the bad guys at some point who are controlled by an evil god because of some magic that we learned about in the middle of the book?
Yeah.
That's the third type of spren or the third type of metal. Like these, they're thematically different, but we're rehashing a lot of the same stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Like the Parshendi being controlled and the Khandra being controlled, it's not that different.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. I don't hate it. Like I'm enjoying it. But at the same time, like there is that element of like we aren't through the full Mistborn yet. I'm excited for Stormlight Era 2, like book 6 through 10. Like what do we do once we get past the Everstorm? Well, what is next for this world? What is next for Mistborn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scafandi, welcome to the Nerds Radiant.
Thank you for being a member.
Lindy asks, since you didn't mention it, I wonder if you knew Brandon made edits to the scene with Szeth and Nael, not just the fight between Kaladin and Szeth. Did you know that?
I didn't.
No. Instead of saying Szeth can be restored with the right Fabrial, he says the right Surge binding. And then Nael says that Szeth should be aware of this because 2 of the Honor Blades held by his people allow regrowth. Does this edit, changing it from Fabrial to Surge binding, change how you feel about this scene? I think that, yeah, it's more interesting if it is a Surge binding thing because we saw Lift do it.
Yeah, I actually do like that more.
I like that far better.
Because then Nail's just doing the thing that Lift does.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but then that means that he has that. Does that mean the Heralds have all the surges?
Heralds?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's 10 of them.
Yeah, but do each of them have all the 10 surges?
No, only 2 of the blades.
Yeah, but then how is Nail healing Szeth with his surge? Because Nail wouldn't have healing.
Oh, Nail would have to have one of those 2.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so...
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. It makes it a little bit better. I still think it's I don't like where it is in the book.
Yeah. I think that it is, like, partially, like, how it all plays out and partially where it all plays out.
Yeah.
Like, narratively, yeah.
And, like, I just think that, like, I think the idea that this guy died in a storm, fell hundreds and thousands of feet down and crashed into a rocky surface, and that his brainstem was fine enough that he was... I just don't buy it. I just wish it had been done differently.
Yeah.
And not right after the hype moment of him dying. Like, I think that it would have been better to put in the next book.
Yeah. Early Ann would ask, which character would you pick as your college roommate? Renarin.
Oh, God, no.
Why?
He sees the
so
future.
quiet.
I don't need him. I don't need that shit in my life. I do not want my roommate
You
to be
don't
like,
have to be friends
you're
with
gonna
him.
get dumped tonight. And
You
I'm like, Renarin, shut the fuck up.
Here's the thing, you don't have to be friends with him.
With my roommate? Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I'm not fucking sleeping 4 feet from someone I don't like.
Here's the thing, Adolin would bring home a new person twice a day. And I'm
Yeah,
not...
but so did I in college. I can't get mad at that.
I would not have roomed with you.
Well,
I would never have wanted to.
Rock cooks. It's gotta
Fair.
be Rock.
Yeah, Rock. Yeah, it's Rock. 100%.
Rock's gonna have all the
Problem
seasonings.
Is, no, actually, I'm sorry. It can't be Rock. Rock would probably accidentally poison me. With, like, spices.
No, he's really good about listening to the dietary needs of all of Bridge 4. He makes different stews based on what people want to eat. Rock pays attention. He's a caring lover. He's got a big dick.
Probably.
Scafandi.
Oh, wait. You came back to the Nerds Radiant again. I'm so confused. Do you have 2 accounts?
No.
Oh, well, we got 2 notifications.
Well, no, so this is when he paid, and this is when he sent a message using what he paid earlier.
Oh.
Yeah. He would be
fun.
the best wingman. Oh, yeah, for sure. He'd be the best wingman.
True.
Fuck. He would write down your test. I don't cheat. I'm not a cheater.
I just don't find that...
I have a guilty conscience. I can't do it.
I know that people will happily cheat in school. I'm like, the point of me being there and paying for college is to actually learn something. Yeah. Then I'm just cheating myself. I'm wasting my own money.
I know, we're lame and we think like that.
Yeah, whatever.
Which is funny because I did take money to write papers for other people. So, like, I would help other people cheat, but I never cheated on my own shit.
Interesting.
I wrote so many papers in my lit class.
Here's the thing. I actually feel like Yasna and I would be great roommates. I get along so well with autistic people. Like, I'm dead serious right now. I am, like...
I feel so attacked.
Yeah, I am... No, I am dead serious.
I get along so well with my husband.
Yasna would be my roommate. 100%.
Yasna's too demanding. I need someone I need someone chill.
No, like, Yasna's independent. She does whatever the fuck she's gonna do.
No, Yasna is on her schedule. Your life is adapting to Yasna.
No, you're just roommates. You're not dating.
No, that's what it is, a closer relationship because you're forced together. Trust me. I went through it.
It depends if you're sharing the same room or the same like dorm.
No, I'm thinking roommate. Like this person, you are in twin beds across a 4-foot gap.
Then nobody.
You want someone chill. You want someone who's gonna like. Yeah, Yasna would have a lot of rules.
Yeah, but they would be logical. Like it'd be like, yeah, don't fucking leave food out. Like.
Nah, you're not taking this seriously enough. Yasna would be a nightmare.
No, Yasna would be perfect for me.
We have met 2 of. Oh no, wait. Where were we? Kayla says, we get more of an insight into the Ghost Bloods and Words of Radiance. Do you have any theories on who they are and what they want? Any wild guesses?
Amaram is a Ghost Blood?
Son of Honor.
Right, that's the other one.
Son of Honor, right? Amaram, Son of Honor? I don't know. I guess I would want, what are they? Master Jarl, thank you for that super chat. Surely I don't have second account, Scuff Andy.
Jesus Christ. Are you just subscribing? You trying to get us to 70K? Or no, I guess your members.
You talk about the Ghost Bloods. I'm gonna go pee.
Oh, no, he's going to pee before me.
I know. What the fuck's going on?
Crazy. Thank you for that super chat. No, I stand by Yasna as a roommate, 100%. I honestly, I have no fucking clue what the Ghost Bloods want. Honestly, the Ghost Bloods at this point could just be, like, fucking around to actually... No, wait, that's Sons of Honor. Sons of Honor are trying to bring the Radiance back and the Gods back so that... Or the Voidbringers back so that the Gods back and the Radiance back. Fuck, I don't know. The Ghost Bloods oppose the Sons of Honor. It might just be that. It might just be like they found out that there was an institution trying to bring back the Voidbringers and they were like, maybe not. Maybe we don't do that. John S. asks, Wave Kings was Cal's backstory, Words of Radiance was Shallan's. What other characters would you really like to see fleshed out in this manner? Interesting. Interesting. Out of the ones that we've met, I don't know, because there's a lot of characters that we know a lot about. Like, I have a feeling Adolin's not really going to have much of, like, a backstory in the same way that Shallan and Kaladin did. Maybe Dalinar. Maybe Dalinar gets a bunch of flashbacks of what happened with his wife and cultivation.
No, the next book's got to be Yasna, right?
Oh, true. Yeah, no,
like,
you're right.
It's gotta be Yasna.
Right. You're right. Oh, Linus, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for that super chat.
Appreciate
Let's
you.
go with Bringer. I'll go back to the Ghost Bloods question while Clar's peas. I think that the Ghost Bloods want... I don't know. Guys, I don't know. I have no idea what the Ghost Bloods want. I don't really know what they want. I don't really get what they want. They want the Heralds to not live, I guess. I don't know. To be honest, I like the only one that I know what they want is the diagram. They want to fulfill the diagram to stop the Everstorm, but the other two I have no fucking clue. And then this one was what was what was the other question? Oh, backstories. I think it's got to be Yasna, right? Unless Yasna's book 4 and Dalinar's book 3. I guess Dalinar could be book 3. Same, and even their name makes no sense to me. Yeah, their name doesn't. I don't get. The Ghostbloods, I like maybe want power, but that doesn't even seem to really make sense. I think that once I have an inkling, it'll all make sense. I feel like the Ghostbloods have a very clear purpose in Brandon's mind. But again, they're one of those things that's like a tease for the future where it's like, I'm going to give you so little. And it's like, it's fine. Ernest Hill says, who's the better fighter, Kaladin or Kelsier? Oh, definitely Kaladin. Kaladin has better training, I think. Kelsier's all instincts. Thank you for that super chat, Ernest.
That's so interesting, because is it Kaladin with or without Syl? Because he can't fucking use his spear without her there.
Well, but then you have to do Kelsier without Allomancy.
Yeah.
You can't do, like, Kelsier with Allomancy and Kaladin with nothing, right? Like, that's not fair. I'm gonna go with Kaladin's, like, training and level of, like, and you know, time spent. When we get to Kelsier in even the first book, he hasn't been fighting for that long, right?
Right.
Because he doesn't become a Mistborn until like 8 months before or something like that.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long.
Pits,
yeah. And so like he doesn't have years in the army the way that Kelsier does.
Yeah. Early Ann asks if all the characters were on Survivor, who would be voted off first and who would win?
Oh god. Yasna would be voted off early.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think she would win.
No. Do you watch Survivor?
I did like a decade ago.
Yeah, the person who everyone is scared of being too smart always gets voted off early.
But if it's Survivor and we are pretending that none of these characters know one another, which you would have to be for it to be Survivor, it would be people who don't know Yasna, and Yasna would know enough to like dumb herself down.
I don't think she would.
All right.
I think that Yasna is too demanding. The people who win Survivor are socially good as well as physically capable, right? Like you need to have So
Adolin wins?
Adolin would do really well on Survivor.
All
Everyone likes him. Nobody dislikes him.
That's fair.
Navani would definitely be a late stager.
True.
Dalinar's out of there quick. Kaladin's too depressing to be around, so he gets booted. People would keep Rock around for a long time because of the food. Rock actually would have a really good shot.
Yeah.
Rock's like placid but like competent survival skills would be really valuable to the group, so he wouldn't get voted off early. And he's physically strong enough that there's a lot of challenges where he could win immunity a lot.
Oh my god, if Shallan had pattern, she could frame people like pattern, like people could think that they're overhearing a conversation, but it's just pattern.
Yeah, but I don't think Shallan has the survival skills to get through any of the challenges.
I mean, she did wash up on shore and survive. I'm not saying
really. She washed up on shore and then got found by people. It's not like she spent weeks in the woods. I think Shallan would struggle in like the physical challenges.
Yeah. No, I think that Navani or Adolin would win, honestly.
I don't know. Rock would give him a run for the money.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a late stager. Jay Broad asks, we've met 2 of the heralds. What do you think the other 8 are doing?
Wait, I just want to get to this. James Ross says, I didn't know Survivor was a popularity contest. I guess that's why I never watched. It's not a popularity contest.
It kind of is.
But it's specifically not being... The early stages of Survivor are specifically not being too popular or too unpopular.
Yeah.
It is about... You have to, like, squeeze through the beginning by staying kind of in the middle.
It's all
and not attracting attention.
It's all made up.
And then some parts of it are, but
reality TV is fake.
Yeah.
There's nothing real about it.
But their personal relationships are real, right? As they're going through it together. And so the beginning of the show is about staying in the middle so you don't stand out on either side, and then winning competitions at the end. It's interesting.
Yeah. There's a reason it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck the other heralds are doing.
I thought they were dead, so I'm just baffled that they're all alive.
Fair enough.
Because if they're alive and they're not doing stuff, why? Are they all crazy? If all 10 of them are crazy, that's going to be kind of a... It's because by the 10th one, we're going to be like, It's kind of like the amnesia with the spread, right? Like, there's an amount of repetition in that where the audience starts to be like, all right, can we speak? Because it happens in fantasy where, like, by the 10th person who gets superpowers, they advance through their powers faster because the audience doesn't need to watch them figure out the basics of their powers again.
Yeah.
So you spend a lot of time on the first person, and then by the 7th person, you're like, 3 months pass, and they figure out all the shit that Kelsier already knows because we don't need to do Ellen figures out everything Vin already knows because we don't need to do all the shit again with Vin.
Exactly, yeah.
That we went through with Vin.
Yeah.
Which I think Mistborn does really well, right? In the break between book 2 and book 3, the time gap is used to get Ellen up to speed so that we don't have to watch Ellen figuring everything out at a basic level.
Yeah.
I think that, like, in that version of it, I thought Brandon Sanderson did a really good job of kind of speeding through the second person becoming Mistborn.
I agree, for sure. Id vs. Ego asks, I asked this question at the end of Way of Kings as well, what epigraphs are the most interesting and which ones do you wish had more information? Well, we definitely got more information on Lift. I feel like that kind of like...
That's not an epigraph. That's an interlude.
Sorry.
I really liked the... I really liked the listener ones. I have gone back and read them to, like, see if there were hints in there. I think that there's a poetry to the way they're written. They feel different.
Yeah, and then I think...
And they felt relevant to this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think that the ones that I wish had maybe not more information, but were just conveyed differently are the fucking Words of Radiance ones, where I'm like, I don't understand this fucking hoity-toity scholar speech.
They were a little too dense.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the listener ones felt like I could read that book and...
Yeah.
Like,
I understand, roughly, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Early Ann asks, in Roshar, everything has a soul, from toys to toothbrushes to underwear. What personal item would tell the funniest story?
Toothbrushes would be boring because they're used the same way every day. You need something that, like...
A PC. Your computer can tell a real good story.
Nope. Not mine. Incognito mode, kids.
Yeah, but that's just the browser. Like, the PC
Secrets.
knows. The PC knows.
Secrets. What personal item would tell the funniest story?
Hot dogs. There's a movie about it.
Sausage Party? You haven't even seen it.
No.
You don't even know if it's a funny story.
I don't.
Oh, God, it's a fun movie. It's so stupid, but it's a good time. I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably, like, glasses, because they get to experience everything on your, like, that you experience.
I love that. Okay.
Something that's going to have a wide variety of experiences and isn't just like, yep, I turned on, vibrated, and brushed their teeth today.
Yeah.
Syrian says, we have now seen Sanderson write about 2 incompetent kings, Elhokar and Elend. Elend wasn't that incompetent. The world was ending and he saved it.
He did his best.
I think
he definitely was incompetent at the, like, political side of, like, bringing the people together.
Oh, I should have finished the question. Can Elhokar turn things around and learn how to be competent like Elend? Hopefully without Elendvid's, oops, we did an apocalypse.
Right.
We've already done the apocalypse. Like, the Everstorm is here. Remember how I say these books keep doing the same thing? The Everstorm has arrived, and so Elhokar is now the king in the apocalypse, much like...
Well, and Elhokar, we know, is so, like, has, like, a very, like, tumultuous, like, internal... I don't even know. He feels a lot of feelings and doesn't know what to do about them. So I think that Elhokar is set up to definitely have an arc and growth and story there. I think it'd be boring if he never changed from the person that we see here.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, I think he does absolutely have the capacity to learn, especially when
I hope he doesn't, so it doesn't just feel like we're repeating the Ellen stuff. Like if a
No, but if he
magic
learns in
woman
a
from
different
another
way.
culture comes and changes his personality, I'm gonna be like, why?
No.
read this.
No, I think it's that like he can have like people that he looks up to and listens to, where he's not like I think he just needs to learn.
Yeah.
That he doesn't have to be king and do everything himself. That he can be king and still rely on the people around him that are good at specific things that maybe he's not good at.
Wouldn't you argue, though, that he's doing that too much by letting Dalinar just run everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that there's a balance there, for sure.
Syrians also asked, does he want to, or does he just want to make himself feel better? I don't know what that means.
Like, does Elhokar want to make himself feel better? Or does he actually want to grow and change and be a good king?
I think two things can be true. I think everybody wants to be better. I don't know that there's any human alive who doesn't want to be better. Not all of us have the work ethic and capacity to be better, but everybody wants that.
I'd like to think so.
I don't know. I think even serial killers want to be better at serial killing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not a better person.
I want to be better at fucking like Call of Duty. I'm not going to be. I don't have the work ethic for it, but like I would love to be better at it.
Sure. But Lazriel asks, the Parshendi freely admit their part in the assassination of Gavilar, hoping that the resulting...
Galavar?
Gallivant, actually.
Gallivant!
Hoping that the resulting war would be brief. Why do you think they just didn't feign ignorance?
Because they wanted the war to happen?
Yeah, they wanted to be attacked.
I'm not trying to understand your question. They say that they wanted the war to happen.
If they had been like, oh no, I don't know who it is, then the war wouldn't have happened the way that it did.
Although, wait, no, they wanted Gavilar to be dead so that the gods didn't come back. They didn't...
Oh.
It must be an honor thing then. No, because they didn't want the war to happen. They were comfortable with the war happening as a consequence of their gods not returning, even though it definitely failed.
Maybe it was like a self-punishment kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like they were like, we literally ordered the assassination of this guy who tried to make a treaty with us, and like, you know, we are doing a bad thing, so maybe in a weird backwards way we deserve being killed.
I'm still just so like, why the fuck did they bring Szeth if they didn't know that Gavilar already wanted to do the thing?
What?
Like, so Gavilar told them that night that he wanted to bring the gods back, and so why is Szeth already with them?
No, he
is
didn't.
my question. Yeah, he did. Isn't that what happened?
No, he'd been working on that with Amaram for a while.
Yeah, but he told the Parshendi that night.
When?
Earlier during the feast or whatever.
I don't think so. I think
did he not, chat? Am I wrong about this?
No, this has been pre-planned. I don't think Gavilar stood up and was like, I'm going to bring the Voidbringers back. Like, that seems like a bad move at a feast.
I thought he told the Parshendi that night what his plans were.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone actually... I don't think he ever announced what his plans were.
But they say in that scene that he told them.
No, I thought they found out about it.
No, Gavilar told them before the signing. Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Gavilar told them we're going to bring the Voidbringers back?
That's not what he said. But he said that's not a message you need to delete, James Ross. That's in the book. I remember reading this.
Is it?
Yeah. It is said that Gavilar told them earlier that night that he was going to do what he wanted to do, and they interpreted that as bringing the Voidbringers back. I don't think he said, I'm going to bring the Voidbringers back.
Then what would he have said?
All we got from the Parshendi perspective was that Gavilar told them what his plans were.
And we know that Gavilar's plan was to bring back the Voidbringer so the Radiance returned. Like, I just think, why would you announce that?
I don't think that's what Gavilar's plan was.
It was. Him and Amaram talked about it. They were on the same side.
I don't know.
It's weird, right? Gavilar's just being like, we're going to bring the Voidbringers back.
I'm pretty sure that it was that night. So I want to know why Szeth was with them.
Yeah.
Officially, Sam says I'm right. So I'm pretty sure I'm correct here. I think it was that night. But so why did they already have Szeth? And how did they get Szeth?
I don't know.
We'll get to it.
We've learned quite a bit at the very end about shard blades and the manipulation of them, but even dead blades had quite a few tricks to them. If you were a king, a high lord, general with command of a few sets of blade and plate, what methods do you think you'd use to make the most of them? I am not a battle strategist.
I mean, it's so tough, right? Because, like, it depends on, like, what is my...
What's the goal?
Yeah, what does my nation need?
Is the goal to kill a bunch of people in a war?
Because I think the way that city is built, that lift goes to an edge dancer, is a great use of plate and blade. You're not going to have the energy to do it without the plate. But, like, you know, I think there's so many different uses for shard blades outside of just war, right?
I mean, I think that
this is going to be a dark one, but, like, it doesn't seem like when you get stabbed with a shard blade, it hurts. And so, like, there is a, like, medical case for, unless your soul dies, which then, like, obviously that gets complicated. But, like, you know, in terms of, like, an easy way to kill someone who's in tremendous, you know, pain for the rest of their life, I'm a huge fan of
shard blade maid.
What?
Shard blade maid.
Maid?
Isn't that what it is? Medically assisted.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of that. I think that, like,
yeah.
I think that if people don't want to be alive, there's no reason that we should legally force them to. I find that very strange.
Yeah, no, I will agree with that.
Especially when, you know, when it's pain. I think that, like, there's definitely mental illness things where it's like, let's get them help first and make sure.
Sure.
But, like, when it's like,
but we are very much like, when we are incapacitated, pull the fucking plug. Like.
Yeah, or, like, there are people who have conditions where it's like every nerve on your body is going to hurt forever and there's nothing you can do about it. No medication will ever help and you're just going to be miserable every second of every day. And it's like,
yeah.
Let's say goodbye.
Sure, yeah.
You know, give them the dignity of not having to be in pain for the rest of their life. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Jack, that fight, Kaladin did not have his spine severed. So, of course, yeah, losing your arm would hurt. But we don't know if it hurts to, like, have your soul be cut from your body.
Oh, maybe it does hurt. If it does hurt, then it's different.
Yeah, I don't know. But I definitely think, like, if I had sets of plate, I would give it to... I would, like, obviously let them use it for construction of some kind. You can carry more, and you can put yourself in, you know, more dangerous situations because the plate will literally save your life if something falls on you. Yeah. And so you're really protecting those people that are building up your city to make it better for everybody.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of uses. I think that, like, you know, obviously war is the one that's going to be the most used, but there's so many practical uses for what they can do.
Yeah.
Belazio's final question was, Robert Jordan famously gave his German Shepherd answer to a question involving balefire and gateways, but Sanderson often seems to consider such edge cases and plan for them. What do you think would happen if you tried to summon a shard blade through shard plate? Would it cut through, be knocked aside, or something else? So the mist has to coalesce. So I just don't think the mist could coalesce in... Because when a shard plate forms, it coalesces, right? In space. So I think that the mist wouldn't be able to get inside the shard plate to coalesce, so it wouldn't be able to happen.
Yeah, it would, like, prevent it.
Yeah.
Like, because there's something in shard plate that stops blades, and so it makes sense that it would stop it from forming.
Yeah. No, I don't think it would work. Linus Fiction, thank you for that super chat. Given Moash's betrayal of Kaladin Bridge 4, have you changed your view of him? No?
Oh, we liked Moash before.
I still like Moash. I view him the same way. He is a deeply victimized man struggling in a world that is incredibly racist towards him. And he makes mistakes, but I don't hate him for it.
Murder. Such a mistake.
Look, again...
No, I don't. I think
revolution isn't free. It just has never been. And when you need to make systemic changes, the powers in charge tend to fight those, and violence happens. There is no drastic social change in the history of mankind that did not involve some violence. And so the idea that, like, we need to villainize every single person who's ever committed violence in the name of improving the lives of the people around them is...
That's not what Moash was doing, though. He fully admitted it was fully revenge for him. And that he had no intention of making anything better if Elhokar died. Because Elhokar dying does not guarantee to make anything better. It was just revenge.
But at the same time, the oppressed class, the rules are different for the oppressed class than they are for the oppressors. On a moral level. They just are. And that's just life. And, like, I say that as someone who is very much not in an oppressed class at all.
I just think killing indiscriminately doesn't help anyone.
And neither does keeping slaves. At the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
why is that related to Moash killing the king?
Because he is the enforcer of the system of government that is oppressing his people. And that is just...
And killing him doesn't change anything. It is just one person's blood on your hands as revenge. If you were like, look, we're gonna take out Elhokar and we're gonna have somebody else step in and they are going to fix slavery, then at that point I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. If there's a plan there that actually means that like things will change for the better of like the oppressed class. Yeah. Maybe I could see some kind of justification in it, but Moash literally is like, nah, I'm here for revenge. I don't really care what happens after.
I just, the whole time I knew that he was an angry and sad, oppressed person who had been shoved aside by society. So my opinion of him hasn't changed. I feel immense empathy for him.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't love him. I don't want to be him. I don't want to be his best friend, but the amount of empathy that I feel for him has not changed, given that he tried to go through with what he thought would solve something with him or whatever it is.
I think
my feelings about him haven't changed. I never thought that he was the best person. I always thought he was he was a bad person because of the way in which the racism of his society victimized him. And so I always felt the same level of what Moash needs to be a good person is probably impossible. And my empathy for that is immense. And that doesn't change just because he tried to go through with it. It doesn't. I don't hate him. I feel bad for him. I genuinely.
I think what complicates things as well is now Moash is Light Eyes. He is part of the oppressive class.
We can't get into that. Like that, I don't know what to do with that. It's that's such a hard... And I honestly think that because of the like fucking apocalypse, we're not going to deal with it. We're just going to move on from all that stuff. And it's not going to be as big a deal as I want it to be. But like, yeah, that makes it complicated.
Well, we don't know about that yet. I don't know. I think that... I
don't know that.
I think that what changes my opinion on Moash for me is Kaladin telling him to stop. Right? Being like, we're Bridge 4, you are here to protect him, like, whatever it is. And it's Moash betraying Bridge 4 than it is more Moash trying to kill Elhokar.
Kind of, but also...
No, I'm saying that's what changed my mind.
But from Moash's perspective, Kaladin was like, all right. And then at the last minute, Kaladin was like, you know what, actually, I'm against this. But like, there was a significant chunk of time where he was not betraying Bridge 4, because he went to his commanding officer and went, hey, we want to kill Elhokar. Mm-hmm. And Kaladin was like, let me think about it. A couple days later, all right, I'm in. A couple days later, I'm out. Like, it's not like Kaladin at every step of the phase was like, don't do it. For a significant chunk of the time, Moash was very open and honest with Kaladin, told him exactly what he was going to do, and Kaladin was like, yeah, you know what, you're right, let's do it.
And then Kaladin said, stop meeting these people, this is a bad idea.
Sure. I'm just saying that like the idea that it's this huge betrayal of Bridge 4, when he was very open and honest about what he was going to do, and Kaladin was the one that changed his mind about what the plan was, it's not a massive betrayal. He straight up told him. Like, he didn't hide it. It's not a secret. He was like, hey, I'm going to do this. And at several points in the story, Kaladin goes, yeah, you know what, I'm on board. And Kaladin flip-flops, right? And I'm not saying that he doesn't. But, like, to say that it's a betrayal,
I mean, I still think that it is.
If my friend was like, I'm going to kill this guy, and I was like, I don't know about that. And then he went and did it, I'd be like, I mean, he told me. He told me that was going to happen, so... Yeah, he told me the plan. He told me the date was going to happen. He came to my room.
Didn't.
Yeah, he did. He's like, the plan's in motion. Don't worry about it. We got this. Like,
but
Moash goes as far as showing him to Kaladin's bedroom to be like, hey,
no,
you know
what? No,
at
first Kaladin says, stop meeting those people. He says, stop meeting those people.
Sure, but then Kaladin's the one that goes, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm wrong. We're going to do this.
Yeah, when he gets out of prison. Moash still betrayed them by continuing to do so.
I just don't think it's a betrayal. I think that it's wrong. I do think it's wrong. But, like, betrayal to me implies that it was, like, hidden secret behind the back.
He's supposed to be Elhokar's guard. The entire thing is a betrayal.
Oh, no. He betrays Elhokar. 100%.
And in turn,
I don't think he betrays Kaladin.
And all of Bridge 4.
He just fucking tells Kaladin what he's going to do. And then makes it easy. Kaladin's like, I'm hurt. And he's like, don't worry about it. We actually worked it out so that we don't even need you to do anything.
I think he still betrays all of Bridge 4 based on his actions because he's one of them and he's part of the guard. And he makes all of them look like shit. Like,
I mean, he would have if he succeeded, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This is actually a good point. Steve Zito brings up he only told Kaladin after he got caught after his first attempt. That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. Linus asks, will...
But no, I have a lot of empathy for him. I don't hate him.
Yeah.
It didn't really change my view. I kind of always knew he was going to be a piece of shit who was going to kill Linus. Like,
Fair.
at no point in the story was I like, oh, you know what? Moash is the best guy.
You're like, no, this is how this is gonna play out.
If you were like, did you like Moash or hate Moash more? I'd be like, no, he did the exact thing I knew he was going to do narratively from the moment he was introduced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will a 2-armed Lopen be twice as good as a 1-armed Lopen?
No, because people are not their parts. They're souls.
Hey, there you go.
And I don't think that having 2 arms makes Lopen a better person. He's great because of who he is, not because of what digits he has.
Yeah.
There's no disabled person I've ever met who I thought would be better if they were not disabled.
Yeah, 100%.
Just flatly. I get the joke of the question, but I want to answer it seriously in that, like, there is no amount of fixing a disability that makes a person a better person. Right. And to me, that is an inherent thing about the world that I will believe till my dying breath. You are who you are, not what you have.
Yeah.
Whether that's your body or your wealth or your whatever, right? It is about people are the people that we are, and not the body. They're just meat sacks. We all have different meat sacks.
Yeah.
I'm very tall. You're very short. I'm not better than you because I have an extra foot of height or because I can reach top shelves. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make me a better person. And so, no, I don't think that, I don't think that Lopen can be a better person because he has more fingers.
Fair. Dizzy asks, in our main camp, now we have 4 Radiants, Kaladin, Shallan, Dalinar, Renarin, plus a Lopen, I guess.
The Lopen. A Lopen. A Lopen. Dizzy, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Who do you think
I'm kidding.
joins the glowy gang next, or is there someone you think might be hiding their Radiant? I don't know. I think that, like, the people in Bridge 4 glowing is, like, a foreshadowing to something, whether or not that's, like, the whole team thing, Windrunner shit that they, like, alluded to.
Oh, I think all of Bridge 4 gets Windrunner shit.
Yeah.
I think that, like, the honor of being together is what fucking blows them up.
Interesting, okay.
Sabariel would be funny.
Oh my god.
If he became like a Skybreaker or something. Like he was like a justice guy.
Somebody you think might be hiding. I don't know. I think that, like,
there's gotta be one that's hiding it. There's gotta be one.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's Elhokar. Obviously. He sees the Lyspren.
Oh, right.
Yeah, duh. Yeah. No, it's Elhokar.
You forgot about Yasna in the main camp, right? Yasna's gonna be there.
Oh, yeah, Yasna also a Radiant.
Soon. She can teleport now, so.
Yeah. Dimitrios asks, so now that Cosmere crossovers, not counting Hoyt, are pretty much official, do you think that the numerous magic systems interact with each other? Do you think the numerous magic systems interact with each other, and if yes, how?
I mean, if Nightblood can be run by Stormlight, then yes.
Yeah.
Then investiture is investiture, and the type of investiture doesn't matter. Now, if Nightblood needs breaths from the planet, then they don't interact. But based on the fact that Nightblood is here, I think that we have to assume that it can run here. And obviously, guys, Zahale is Vasher.
Obviously.
Fucking nailed it.
Oh my god.
Watch, that's true.
That, you know what?
I'll be so mad if that's true.
it would be kind of fucking bonkers.
It would give me so many fucking questions. Because I'm like, what are we doing, guys?
I don't know, I kind of dig it.
I love when I create, like, speculations that make me angry later on.
You just piss yourself off.
Yeah. But...
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna assume that if a Mistborn showed up in the on Roshar, that they could use metal in the same way.
That's not interacting, though.
I don't know.
They say interact with each other. The problem with Allomancy is that Allomancy is internal. So, like...
Oh, could a Ferrochemist store... store information on Roshar?
Yes, they would still have their abilities.
Yeah.
But, like, an Allomancer wouldn't be able to use Stormlight. Right? And if Radiant can't just eat metal and suddenly become an Allomancer.
Right.
I don't think Elantrians would be able to use their power on another planet.
Yeah, because it's so dependent on that.
The Fucklechucks, the bad guys in that world, they would still have their powers on other planets because they're not space dependent.
Right.
So maybe you get the magic powers of the planet you're born on?
I have no idea. That was fun.
But if you need investiture for your powers, you can... I think the investitures are interchangeable. Like, power of it is. But so maybe metals on Roshar would still work for a Mistborn, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Could a Mistborn born a Bond Spren? Then they would just become a Radiant. They're not really... They would have separate powers.
Yeah, and I don't know if a Spren can choose someone with... I don't know how the Spren choice works. No idea.
Brandon will explain it eventually. When you get the TTRPG book in 2025. Yeah,
we'll get there. All right, we gotta go.
Me too. Thanks so much, everyone. This has been fun. This was the full book recap. Clarus, you want to give your high for Hearts of Radiance?
That is so fucking tough.
It's tough.
Like, genuinely, there are so many sick fucking things that happen. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. There's so many highs. With video. You owe us a cast list. We didn't get enough, like, new characters in this book, so we figured we would save a cast list until, like, the end of Oathbringer. And then see. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is my high?
I don't know. You have to decide. I can't choose it for you.
Fuck. Oh my god. I don't even know.
I can't move on to my low until you do your high. So.
Why don't you do your high and I'll do my low and we just fucking switch it up?
All right. My high of the novella is...
No, it's definitely a novel.
No, it's a novella. Wait till you read Words of Radiance at 500,000 words. Not quite.
We just read Words of Radiance.
Wind and Truth. Wind and Truth not being 500,000 words is just cowardice on Brandon Sanderson's part. Like, what a fucking...
Just put the extra 2,000 in there or whatever it was.
My high for the Words of Radiance was when they read the Words of Radiance. Wow. Fuck, it's tough. It's tough. There's so much happens in this book.
Mm-hmm.
I really like... Damn, yeah, I don't know. Probably the final fight, I guess? I don't know.
Okay.
That seems wrong. White's been uncaged, maybe? Even with the limitations of the rules.
That's one that I was toying with for my high as well. It's still pretty incredible.
Yeah. Oh, no, the Dalinar, Amaram, Kaladin moment after the prison.
Oh.
Or before they leave.
Good
That's
one.
got to be on my high. Yeah. Yeah, honors that I'll see what I can do is the other one.
Which is White Spine Uncaged.
Yeah.
Right, so like, yeah.
But not like but it's just that the rules get introduced the way that they do that kind of like kills it for me. It's a weird...
No, the Amaram moment is so good.
Yeah. What's your low?
My low is that I just think there are too many fake out deaths for my personal taste in this book, and that is my low. What is your low?
I mean, it's tough for it not to just be kind of the like way the end is just a little mushy. There's just it's just a little too many things shoved into the end of this book.
Gotcha.
When it should be wrapping up, it just feels like it's like, oh, there's more stuff, and I'm like, I don't need more stuff right now. I this can be an Northbringer. Like, I don't need this right here, and it just kind of makes the post getting to Irithiru part of this book, I just felt like was just a few too. It was like a hat on a hat on a hat.
Yeah.
It was like, and everyone needs to start something else, and I know people love that. I get that.
Yeah.
And I've heard all of the Brandon Sanderson loves theories. I've heard all of the shit that you guys have said, but for me, it just wasn't my favorite way to end a book. I thought the denouement wasn't denouement enough.
A little messy, just a teeny little bit messy. I think that my high is actually Shallan. And
just the character of Shallan.
Really, like her character development, like seeing the horrible like trauma that she endured and how she has chosen to act as a person despite all the terrible shit that has happened to her. Right, how she tries to make other people laugh, smile, be happy. Like she tries to find the light and the goodness and focus on that instead of wallowing. I think it's just a really beautiful sentiment, and it makes me. I love her so much, and I love that her relationships with the characters in this book, and I just think it's so well written.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you for that super chat. He was limited on page count based on how big they can print the books. True statement.
Hilarious.
But they can make the words smaller. So I don't buy it.
I guess, yeah.
If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is...
Lift, I guess.
Okay. This podcast goes up everywhere. Give us 5 stars, please, so that we can grow. We're probably not going to grow that much because it's 3 hours long. So don't worry about it. Do whatever you want. Live your life. I don't know why you're here. So go do something fucking else. Make friends. Play D&D. It's a great game. Or, try Our Brilliant Ruin next Saturday on the 19th. Clarus and I are appearing on the Roleplay Relay. Our company, TTRPG company, was commissioned to do a one-shot of Our Brilliant Ruin, which will be on the Our Brilliant Revel stream over on their YouTube channel on Saturday. We're the first 3 hours. I think we're at 4 o'clock.
Is that Eastern?
Let me check. That's already filmed. So we shot this really cool. It's a really cool story starring us, Fariha, Justin Myers Chapman, and Captain Krail. We just did a fun little one shot of Our Brilliant Ruin, which is a really interesting TTRPG system that has an incredibly cool world. Please do check them out. Please check out our stream over there. It's a fun little thing. It's like 3 hours. 4 p.m. EST. You can watch Carriage of Justice, our one shot.
Yeah. It's gonna be really fun.
Chris Buckingham says, is Our Brilliant Ruin replacing Astral Dusk? No, but Astral Dusk is going on a little bit of a hiatus for
so many reasons.
So much happened at the same time.
Yeah, genuinely there are so many reasons why.
And some of it is some of it we really can't talk about. Obviously, I have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, so my schedule's different.
And Heroes Without Borders.
Yeah.
And then we have another friend who booked something and another friend who is not going to be here.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
Yeah.
And so Astral Dusk is not done, but tomorrow's episode will be the last for a few weeks while we try and figure out...
Yeah, sorry.
Where things are going. Clarus, we gotta go. Smut.
We did the smut. We did so much
smut. Everybody smut. Everybody smut. You're not gonna do anything. You're just gonna. I will keep smut.
I didn't. I'm not sure when you're done.
I was hoping you would talk over that.
No, because no one can hear me when you are speaking. You have a very naturally resonant voice, and I love you for it.
How many times do you think Kaladin jerked off in prison?
Well, there's nothing else to do, so it's probably a lot.
Poor Syl. That's why she was facing the wall. She's like, oh my god, he's just grinding the skin off of that dick.
Yeah. All right, get the fuck out of here. Goodbye.
Bye.